Hey everybody, welcome to the Wise Guys. Welcome to July 1st. And this is the number one BYU Sports live stream talk show in the entire world, presented by Brady Plus. So it's July. Football's back this month. After further reviews back this month on BYU TV. The NFL's back this month. The Olympics are back this month. A number of Cougars are in the field. Two of them are right here, and they've got amazing stories.
We're going to talk to them in just a minute.
That's why we're sitting by each
We're
other.
together. They're over there, but we're going to bring them in just a minute. It's pretty awesome to have two Olympians in the house.
It's like the greatest show ever.
Yes, it is. So they've got an amazing story to tell us, too. So we're really excited to have James Corrigan and Kenneth Rooks in the house with us. Also tonight's global live stream show, BYU assistant coach Will Voigt, basketball assistant. Running back Hinckley Ropati. I just saw Hinckley a little while ago.
Good.
And in the gym, and he looks as ripped as ever. He's like, it's crazy. And then receiver Keelan Marion is going to join the show with us a little bit.
Live streams hopping as always. How about West Yellowstone?
Yeah,
Neil
first in the
Jones
house is West
there.
Yellowstone.
And let us know where you're watching the show from, and we'll try to pass that on to everybody. Wise Guys, thrilled to have Brady Plus as our title sponsor. The Brady name's been synonymous with BYU sports for a long time, and it's a company that's all red, white, and blue. Brady Plus, the largest integrated provider of cleaning, food service, and packaging supplies in the United States. Travis Brady is a BYU alum and the company president. He's going to join us on the show on July 15th, but we're grateful to have Brady Plus.
Yeah, they're a great sponsor. We really appreciate they kind of keep the show going for us, which is amazing. And we're a little over 2 years into this, and we're amazed. We love all of you checking in from all around the world. We were just telling our two Olympians in the house that people watch from Colombia and from Panama,
San Antonio,
from all over the United States and really all over the world. And is Corey still our furthest guy that checks in from Japan?
Well, Japan, Singapore, we've had
It's pretty.
French Guyana,
it's pretty incredible.
Australia.
It really is.
I think Australia still might be the record.
Yeah, Guyana was pretty cool too. That was a new one last week. So
hey, it was a red, white, and blue weekend for BYU's James Corrigan, who ran the race of his life to qualify for the Olympics, joining teammate Kenneth Rooks, who qualified a couple of weeks ago. Both are going to Paris to run the Steeplechase and more at the Olympics, but before they do, they're here on the Wise Guys. First of all, congratulations to both of you, and thanks for hanging out with us at the end of a media day tour for both of you. Nice job.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
How does it feel?
Well, it feels great. It feels a little different having James here. It feels I don't know. It feels a lot better. It was really exciting to be with James this last weekend and to see him run the time that he did to qualify, and to be a little bit a part of that, and also just to finish and win and know that I was an Olympian, and then see that James behind me got third. And it was exciting. We knew he had some extra work to do this last weekend to get that qualifying time. But regardless of whether he hit that time or not, it was a special moment to turn around and to see that he had got third, and that we had an opportunity to go together, and now we are going together.
That's pretty cool. And we're going to tell a little bit more about that story in just a second. I want to start with you, Kenneth. You placed first at the Olympic trials, obviously.
Yeah.
And you had a national ranking high enough to get you on the team. So you've had a couple of weeks for this to set in. Like, you've known you're going to Paris for a couple of weeks. How does that feel to know that you punched that ticket and you're on your way to compete?
It's been a little bit surreal. It feels a little bit like a dream. It's also a little bit of a relief, a little bit, because I've had my eyes set on the Olympic trials ever since winning USA's last year.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting to be healthy and to put in the work for another year. And I feel like I'm more fit this year than last year, and to finish the race without any hiccups, no falls this time.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We'll talk about that too.
Those were dramatic, though.
But it's awesome. We have a great team, me and Matt Wilkinson and James, and it's just been really special, especially to share this with my wife. We just got married 4 weeks ago, and this man's getting married in 5 days.
Oh my goodness!
We got a lot on the list here.
We're going to talk about all this stuff.
So, James, your journey is a little tougher. You finished third at the trials, which was fantastic, but you needed to hit the Olympic qualifying time of 8:15. So there's one last race that gets put together. Coach Ed Eyestone and his magic, and you go to Pennsylvania on short rest Saturday night, you not only hit the Olympic time, you break this guy's program record. You're just a sophomore. You're a professional. You're a sophomore. What the heck? How'd you pull all this off?
I wish I had an easy answer, but I think that, man, I wish I could say this better. I wish I could explain everything that's in my head. Things are a little crazy right now, but I think the overall idea is that when you surround yourself with great people, great things happen. And when you're around great things, your perception on what's great changes as well. And so seeing Kenneth do what he did last year, obviously it was insane.
Yeah.
And I remember being part of the watch party and freaking out and thinking no one's going to touch this guy's record for years because of how insane it was. And so it's not something you necessarily are thinking about then, but because of the precedent Kenny set, as I went through all these races and as I was racing in the trials, I think I not only had my own confidence of what I'd done, which, wasn't much based off of, my NCAA season, but I think I also had the confidence of Kenny, and I had the confidence of Connor and Clayton and Ed and Ryan, like all these, coaches and professional athletes that just exude confidence. And so that rubs off on me for sure. And I feel like I have a spot and I belong in some of these races. And I think that really helped me outrace a lot of people.
Hey, look, Blaine, who's on the live stream tonight? Henry Marsh. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations
Amazing.
from the GOAT, right?
man.
Henry Marsh. He
Awesome.
sat right in that chair not that long ago and told us about what it was like to toe the line when he was the best in the world, and how he would have to convince himself that he was, and he would. I said to him, "What's it like to know that you're the baddest man in the world at an individual event?" He goes, "I would have to just tell myself that every time because I couldn't believe that I was. I was just like, these guys cannot run with you. You're the best. Go show it, right?" So, and you guys have a chance to follow in Henry's legacy, which is really cool. Before you guys came, and before we got to visit with you for a minute before the show, we were talking about how crazy it is that 6 weeks ago, your PR, his personal record, was 8:46:40. You took 33 seconds off your PR. How in the world does that happen? Because it doesn't happen very often in track and field to go that quickly, that low. What
I'm not
happened?
sure it ever happened.
Explain this to us because we don't get it.
Yeah, you bet. I'll do my best. Well, I think there was a couple things. One, we were very intentional this season with my training. And I say it was mainly just me being like, okay, I'm not going to kill stuff when it's not time to kill stuff. I'm going to do my best to, do what Ed says. And so that's the easy answer is I did what Ed said this year as much as I could, follow as closely as possible. On workouts where I was like, man, this feels a little easier. I was like, that's okay. Just another day in the in the books. I don't know how else to say that, but sure. I just treated it like the job that it was. And so I think instead of trying to kill workouts early and getting super fit, I was trying to focus on peaking at the right time. So that was one part. And the second part was that a lot of the season was about advancing, surviving, and winning championship season races. And so you may not have seen, my full potential, and neither did I, but I think we knew it was there. I didn't know to that extent for sure, but I knew that there was a lot in me that I had to give. And so those two things combined, seeing everything happen at just the right time in terms of my all my efforts peaking at the right time, and then also having an opportunity where things are just set up to run as fast as I possibly can. Granted, it's kind of a crazy amount of time to drop, but I hope that gives some insight into that.
So you cross the finish line Saturday night. You look up and you see your time immediately.
Yeah.
You know you're going to Paris.
Yeah.
Describe the emotion of, oh my gosh, you just did it.
Yeah, it was a lot. I think it started a mile into the race. We have 7.5 laps. It's just under 2 miles. A mile into the race, I told myself, you're telling yourself you're going to the Olympics, but a mile in, we were a second under pace, and I said it out loud. I was like, I'm going to the Olympics. And just because I've run now this season, I've run almost every single race with Steeplechase, and it's just been so many races to the point where I just felt so confident a mile in that I was going to do this thing. And then with 2 laps to go, I never look at the clock in a steeple race except for 2 laps to go. That's the one license I give myself. And so I saw the time, and I was right on, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're doing this. And with a lap to go, I couldn't contain myself. Kenny saw me, I smiled with a lap to go. And obviously, if you see any of the pictures of the last lap, I'm, my face is all contorted and
sure.
it's all tight and stuff. But with a lap to go, I was just so excited. And so coming down the home stretch, not even crossing the line yet, I had to be careful, but I kind of pointed at the clock for a second because I was like, can you guys believe this? And then I crossed, and I'm just so elated. And so there was a lot, like starting halfway through the race, where I was just like, oh my goodness, this is really happening. And it was just a huge build up, and then everybody erupting into cheering and stuff was just the best feeling ever.
It's amazing, and and you're a two-time defending
Yeah.
national champion, Kenneth.
Yeah.
To shave that kind of time over that 6-week period to get to the Olympics, which isn't just a college thing, right? It's
Yeah.
everybody. Knocking that time off of James's time. How impressed are you with what he pulled off?
You know, I'm really impressed. It's an incredible story. It's incredible to see what he's done this year and the focus that he's had on the process, on racing, and also on the little things. There's been times where James has pulled me off to the side, like, "Hey, I want to work on my hurdle form. Like, what could we do to work on my hurdle form so that I'm not like." I don't feel as smooth as I want to be. So we've talked about that, and we worked on that sometimes. But it's been a lot of things. I don't know about. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think Henry Marsh actually had a similar year. Not the same, but he had a year where I think when he qualified. For the Olympics the first time, where he started out the year kind of slow, and then he worked down to like 8:26.
And he didn't even have a scholarship.
Yeah,
Remember,
he
was a
didn't even have
walk-on.
scholarship. So yeah, so I do know that story. So there is a little bit of a story out there as well with Henry Marsh, but you know, I'm just incredibly humbled, and I'm incredibly excited for James. I'm so happy he broke my school record.
Yeah.
And I'm happy I was able to be there to see it and to be maybe a little bit of a part of it, to just cheer him on.
Sure.
And kind of be in his face as he was going around and just helping him stay focused on that. But a big shout out to Daniel Mikowski, who did a great job pacing that day.
Yeah, we saw the Pacers out there helping you keep on track, right?
Oh, that's great. Can I say something on that really quickly?
Yeah.
First of all, again, shout out to Dan. He did the greatest pacing job I think I've ever witnessed. If you look back at the splits, it was 65 point, all the way through.
And that's what he did exactly what you needed him to do, right?
Yeah.
So that was one. But I wanted to mention real quick before we moved on that I think that there's a phrase I love, which is someone's win doesn't have to be someone else's loss. And I think Kenny does super good at that. I mean, obviously, like, you hear him saying, like, I'm so glad he broke my school record, but he exemplifies this. You know what I mean? Like, me doing the awesome things that I did this year, like, it doesn't take away from Kenny at all. Well, it helps that he won, but it doesn't take away. And I think he does such a good job at being excited for me, but also still being willing to celebrate himself and realizing that just because I do something good doesn't mean that it takes away from his own performances. And I really appreciate that because it helps us just become better. And it's not like we're pitted against each other. And it's just, man, what can we do together against the rest of the world?
Yeah.
Well, and you guys are just really, for this sport, you're young still, right? So your peak is down the road here, hopefully in a couple of weeks. But who knows, in the next Olympics as well, right? So I was really interested to hear you how you were talking to yourself as you're going around. Like, hey, you know what? I'm 1 second. I'm doing this. Like, this is coming through. And we talked about what Henry used to get up and say, I'm the baddest in the world at this. Like, now I'm going to go out and show it.
Yeah.
Now you have a chance, both of you had a chance to go and compete on the world stage here in the Olympics. What's your expectation there? And what do you tell yourselves as you're running over there in Paris?
I think that for me personally, I learned last year going to Worlds that it's just another race. It's against some of the best guys in the world. But one thing that Coach Eyestone sometimes reminds me before big races is that I belong in that group. And so similar to Henry Marsh, like, I am one of the best in the world. I think I can say that. I think James can say that. And we do get to train together. I feel like at BYU and just in general, I feel like I'm training with some of the best athletes in the world every day. And I'm grateful that I'm a part of it. And I feel like I am the best. It's hard to say. I don't think I'm necessarily the best in the world, but
do you have a chance? Do you have a chance to be the best in the world at some point?
Yeah, I think I have the chance to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
And especially when I towed the line at the Olympic trials, I knew I was the best, and I went in with that kind of confidence, but also with the humility that, like, I respect all these guys, and I know it's going to be incredibly difficult to beat these guys, and they're going to go out and put out their best. I mean, I respect all those athletes. I feel bad for Hillary. He fell down. I respect him a lot, and he was looking really good this year. He had a really hard fall. But even with him, he's really gracious, and even after the race, he told me, he sent a message telling me congratulations and telling James congratulations and wishing us good luck for helping get James through on Saturday as well. And so, anyways, I respect the guys, but at the same time recognize that I am good, and that there's very few people out there who can beat me. So.
There's very few people who can fall in a race, fall in last place,
let's talk about
and
that.
beat everybody else. BYU Olympians James Corrigan and Kenneth Rooks on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus. They'll represent Team USA later this month in Paris. Couple more questions. We got to get you out of here. On top of all that you got going on, James, you're getting married on Friday.
That's right.
Understand that the honeymoon plans have shifted continents, right? So
Sounds like it, yeah.
How's this all working out here?
Yeah, we were planning on going to Mexico, and actually just right before this, I talked to my fiance, and we said maybe we postpone this to get some good training in. But hey, join me in Europe. We'll touch down in Paris and then go to Switzerland for some training, and come with me, and it'll be a good time.
So getting married, still that's
Yep.
not.
Yeah, that didn't get postponed.
That didn't get postponed.
No, sir.
Yeah.
The Olympics can't get in the way of that.
No.
But that's cool. You're going from one cool place to another cool place, and this time to run. What's it going to feel like with the United States across your chest, guys?
Ooh, man, it's gonna be special. I remember the first moment, like last year, when I went to Worlds and I was towing the line, and I looked up on the jumbotron, and I was up there, and I was wearing Team USA, and it kind of hit me like, oh my gosh, I'm running at the World Championships and running for Team USA right now. I'm sure there's gonna be some moment similar to that for me this summer where I have that uniform on, and I'm gonna realize like, wow, I'm here at the Olympics. I'm repping Team USA, but we represent more than just that. But
Sure.
It's really special and I'm excited to. We haven't got the gear yet. I'm excited to get the gear, and
cool.
excited to be out there and
You get the gear and you go into opening ceremonies, right? Like, have you thought about
Yeah.
that? That's got to be a cool thing to be able to do, right?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it too much, so I'm not going to lie yet. I know, in the next couple of days, the implications of what's happened is still going to set in, and it's like, oh, those clothes I tried on, I get to keep those now. And
Yeah.
It was tough because, we went through our processing, we call it, and we try everything on in case we do go. But it's just like, you got to stay emotionally level-headed, and now I can enjoy, all the excitement, all the buzz around that. So it's going to be great.
Find Courtney Wayman, find Jimmer, and a couple of the other former Cougars that are going to be representing, and you guys can all march into Paris together.
Yeah.
That'll
It's
be
gonna be
awesome.
fun. Gonna be awesome.
Very cool. BYU has become, we used to call it quarterback U. No longer. It's Steeplechase U now, is what it is.
That's right.
It's awesome.
You.
This is also an opportunity to you represent yourselves, your family, you represent your faith, you represent BYU, you represent your country. No pressure. This is just 5 big things. You should be fine, right?
Oh, of course.
You're running for your life in Pennsylvania. Now you're running for everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's, I feel like the pressure has just gotten bigger and bigger, and we can take a break from it now, but I've learned so much about, just handling pressure well from Kenny and from all of our heritage at BYU, all the great athletes. And I think if anything, this one will just be the most exciting pressure. It's a good pressure to have, It's a good problem to run into when you get this kind of pressure. And I think running for USA is going to be a cool feeling. It's the same that I have when I put on a BYU uniform and I look up at the jumbotron, like Kenny was saying, and sometimes it's nice to just feel that feeling of gratitude, like, oh my goodness, there's not many people that can be on this team, first of all, and second of all, that get to rep the Y in such a high standard. And so to do that for all those 5 categories, it's going to be really special, and it's something that I'm totally fine taking the pressure for.
Yeah.
I hope you get to do it, Kenny, because it's cool. When you're in a huge moment, it's always good to just take one breath and recognize the huge moment and go, this is really cool. And it sounds like you did. Like, wait a minute, I'm on the jumbotron at Worlds, and there'll be moments in the Olympics when you can step out of it and just go, this is really, I hope you guys get a chance to enjoy that, because it's, and relish it while you're in it and not just when you look back, right?
Right
Yeah.
on.
Guys, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
You guys took tough runs to get there. You go last July is when you fell down, got up and won. Here this July, you're running for Team USA. Yep. Saturday night.
By the way, one of the greatest sports moments I've ever seen. and I've called some cool ones.
And
but-
you know what?
you.
Your sports moment was dramatic as well. I mean, both you guys walk
Yeah.
out of here with big stories to tell.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we've got some cool stories to tell our kids one day.
Yes.
We look forward to you coming back and hanging out with us and telling us what it was like to run against the world.
When you come back, we gotta have you come in and tell us. And I want to hear about those moments when you stepped
Yeah.
out and just enjoyed it. I want to hear all about it.
Oh yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have a lot of those.
We will. We will.
Yeah. So
Katie
very
will make
cool.
sure to come back with a medal for us to see.
Yes, we would love that
Ready?
too.
We're not going to require that, but we would love it. How
You
about that?
come back
We'd love
medal
that.
or no medal, but we'd really love it if you came back with a medal. Jimmer told us he's going to get a medal.
Bet.
So,
Okay.
We'll see.
but they're the favorites. So
Well, they got to get through Serbia, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
true.
going to be good.
Yeah, who
Say
cares
hi
about
to Jimmer when you're over there, all right?
Sounds good.
Thanks,
all
guys.
right,
Thanks
guys,
for being
thanks
here.
so much for coming in.
How
It's
about
great.
that? They're heading to the Olympics. James Corrigan, Kenneth Rooks, representing BYU, and representing all of us. The
Yeah.
whole country.
Yep.
You're even representing Utah fans. Nice job, guys. You've managed
We did
to
it.
bring them all in.
They even have to root for you at this point, right? So,
All right, we'll let you get out of here. Thank you so much.
thanks so much, guys.
being
Thanks for
here with
stopping
us.
by. We appreciate
Two
it.
Olympians on
Thank
the
you.
show. And we'll let Blaine move over there.
Yeah.
And as we do that, let's bring in our next guest. It's July 1st. It's hot, but nothing around Cougar fandom is hotter of a topic than BYU basketball. Our next guest is bringing 20 years of coaching experience to Kevin Young's staff, most recently as the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs G League team last season. A pleasure to welcome BYU assistant coach Will Voigt to the Wise Guys. Hey, Coach, it's great to have you with us. And as we say hello to you, Glenn from the Philippines is on the live stream, and so many more around the world logging on here tonight. DJ's doctoring up the computer, so we'll get Will on here in just a moment. How about those guys? How about having the Olympians here?
It's just awesome, and how fun is that to have them be able to run together? You know, to be teammates, both representing the United States, but representing BYU and the state of Utah, as you mentioned. It's really got to be cool for them to be able to run together in that event and to get ready for it together, which is really great.
Coach, we can see your shirt, so we know we're getting close. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys and see you guys.
Hey, there you are.
There we go. There he is.
All right. Hey, how about this this place, this BYU place, which you're a newcomer to, that's just putting out these Olympic athletes left and right?
Yeah, no, it's impressive. I was fortunate enough to coach in the Olympics, and it's just amazing. I mean, the opening ceremony, you walk in with all those athletes, and it's something I'll never forget.
Well, BYU's got a handful of them, and these two here, one just sophomore, the other pro. We sent them out the door, and they promised they'd bring a medal back.
Yeah,
next time we see
and
them.
Kenneth ran in the World Championships last year, so he's competed at that level before. So he's going with expectations of going maybe medaling in steeplechase, and then the other James this was a huge surprise. Took 33 seconds off of his steeplechase to qualify for the Olympics in the last 6 weeks, which is crazy. And he's heading too. So three members of the team for BYU are for the United States. Two of them are BYU guys, which is crazy. So,
Hey, Coach, let's jump into the steak and potatoes. The Big 12 put out their conference schedule this past week. Kansas is coming to the Marriott Center. So's Arizona. So's Baylor. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Arizona State, Utah, Cincinnati, and West Virginia. This is round one at the collegiate level with this staff at BYU. When that schedule came out, and you probably had a sneak peek at it, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, just hearing you rattle off all those names, it's never going to be easy. Obviously, the Big 12 has been the strongest conference in college basketball for a number of years in a row now. It doesn't get any easier next year. Obviously not having to go to Kansas and a few other places maybe is a little bit better, but I don't think you can ever look at how it shakes down and feel like, oh, yeah, we caught a break here, and here, and this is the easy route. There's no easy route in the Big 12.
the NBA draft's over. Projections for next year's draft are already coming out. And Yegor Demin and Cannon Catchings, both projected as first-round draft picks in next year's draft. With Demin, actually, they're talking about him being part of a lottery pick in next year's draft. I mean, this is new ground for BYU. We've been here a long, long time. We don't remember a time when had 2 projected first-round draft picks that are coming for their first year at BYU. How good are these guys, and what have you noticed so far about them?
I mean, obviously they're both really talented. They fit today's NBA game well. Sort of positionless players, a lot of length and skill there. And I think we need to also be patient and remember how young they are. So, it's great to have the excitement around them. I think it's great, the eyes that'll be on our program from an NBA perspective. That's not just them, but everyone. So, people that come into our building will get a chance to see all of our great players. And I think that's, a really neat opportunity for our guys. But there'll be a learning curve. They both look great early on in our workouts. We're really excited about what they're going to bring, but we also know it's a process, and, we're not going to skip steps in their development.
Big picture question here. What does getting 2 kids of this caliber in your first year as a staff mean long-term in getting more kids just like them?
Well, I mean, I think it speaks to, what we can do as an institution. And, I think what's great about these 2, there's only going to be a select few guys who not only have the talent to be on, NBA draft boards as incoming freshmen, but more importantly, fit the character of, what a BYU student athlete looks like. So the fact that we were able to sign, 2 of those guys, I think speaks a lot to what Coach Young is creating here. But, at the end of the day, of course we want to bring talent in, but, we want to bring the right type of student athlete, and that's first and foremost for us. So there certainly can be years in which there's not a kid that fits that profile. Somebody that's
right.
talented enough to be on a mock draft and also has the character profile for BYU. So, for us to kind of come out of the gate with 2 of them, I think is pretty special.
Yeah, we've got BYU assistant basketball coach Will Voigt on the Wise Guys with us tonight, presented by Brady Plus. When a prospective player sits down with Coach Young, what does that player find out the quickest about him?
Well, from a personality standpoint, he's extremely humble. I mean, let's keep in mind this was the highest paid NBA assistant coach last year. Had a multitude of NBA teams that were interested in him being their head coach. But there's no pretension about him. And I think that the guys really connect with that. He's easy to talk to. He's easy to relate to. But then, when you're in a recruiting meeting and you can point to the fact that Coach Young has worked with 31 lottery picks, that's going to get their attention. So I think it's that balance, right? I mean, obviously the resume speaks for itself. But his ability to relate and connect to these kids is also really important.
Coach Young had to recruit you for this job. What was his pitch?
A lot of the same, pitch that we give to our student athletes. So really just kind of laying out what a special place BYU is and what he felt we could build here. And, Coach Young is somebody that I've known for a long time. We coached, against each other in the old G League days. And, I've never took him to be somebody that deals in hyperbole. So the fact that he would walk away from NBA head coaching jobs, I think already speaks volumes in terms of, what he saw the program could be. And he really does a great job in sort of, outlining that for anyone that wants to join him.
You just mentioned kind of a full circle moment to us. You actually coached against each other. You were at Bakersfield. He was here with the Utah Flash. It was actually during that time when he was at the Utah Flash that he met Melissa. They actually lived in BYU student housing, we found out, which is crazy to me that they lived in BYU student housing. Dave and I did that once long ago. Now you're coaching together at BYU. What are you most surprised about and how this all came together? Are you surprised that you're together down the road when you look back at the pathway where you guys have crossed in the past?
Well, if you look at my resume, you'll realize that just about everywhere I've been, I don't know that I would have predicted. So I've gotten used to, kind of going with the flow and seeing where this game can take you. So I've certainly learned through the years that the basketball world is a small one, and you're usually connected in one way or another. So, I'm just thankful that Coach thought of me when he got the position, felt that I could come in and help him build, what we're doing here.
BYU assistant basketball coach Will Voigt is on the Wise Guys. Cougars tip off Kevin Young's era in Provo and his staff on November 5th against Central Arkansas. You mentioned your coaching resume, tremendous experience overseas. You've had jobs in Germany, Egypt, Angola, Nigeria, China. How have all those stops prepared you for Provo?
Well, I think the biggest thing, going to different countries, different cultures, they all have different ways of playing basketball. And, what it's forced me to do is to adapt to the talent that you have. And I think, honestly, that's the trait of any good coach. You can have a system, and that's great, but I think, what it's really about is putting your players in the best position to be successful. And going to all these different places, really forced my hand and learning how they saw the game and what their style of play was, and what certain players could and couldn't do, and being able to adapt to that quickly. I think the other great thing about all those stops were the languages, to be honest. So, having to learn a new language forces you to streamline the words that you use. And I think that's a good thing in coaching. So taking something complicated and making it as simple as possible, I think is the definition of any good teaching. And through that process, I think that's really helped me with that.
I love that. That's a great way to think about it. Hey, Dave and I were thinking, you were in all these places, and I think about Angola and Nigeria and even China. You had to eat some crazy stuff. And you don't want to offend people, right? So what's the craziest thing you've had to eat to not offend somebody while you've been at all of these places around the world? There's got to be something.
Oh, wow. There's lots of things. It'd almost be better if I could just show you the pictures. Well, honestly, probably China, I think, had the most outside of comfort zone meal experiences. So, as in most cultures, right? Breaking bread with people is important and a great way to connect. And in China, every meal we had was a round table experience, right? So you all sat at the table, the food was placed in the middle, and you could spin the table and then kind of grab at whatever was on there. And so, especially in the early days where I could barely speak Mandarin, maybe recognize a few, food words here or there, you just kind of rolled with it. And there were certainly plenty of times where I was told what I was eating was chicken, and I knew it was definitely not chicken. But I think one of the wildest ones, we went to a place and there was almost like an aquarium. So just like a big fish tank.
Okay.
And what you did is you just pointed to whatever it was that you wanted them to cook up for you.
Something swam by and you just pointed
that looks
at
good.
it?
Well, something moved by, and I didn't point at it. The GM of the team did, so I had to roll with it, and essentially it looked like the biggest worm you've ever seen in your life. So that's one that I'll remember. But there've definitely been some interesting meals along the way.
On our chat, people are come on from all over the world. Royal Coug, I'm not sure where Royal Coug is from, but Royal Coug says, "Hey, lion head meatball stew is a Chinese dish that's definitely something." And then he put the crying emoji on there. So, lion head meatball stew. I don't know if I would try that, but to not offend somebody, I might.
Hey, we're glad you made it. We're glad you made it through there, Coach. While you were over there in China, there was one season where you we're up against BYU star Jimmer Fredette, I believe. Jimmer's off to the Olympics later this month for 3-on-3 basketball. How important have BYU's alumni been in the process of putting this program, this team together, including the likes of Jimmer, Danny Ainge, Travis Hansen, Ryan Smith, and a whole bunch of others? How big have the alumni been in helping you guys pull this off so fast?
Oh, I mean, they've been huge. I mean, obviously the names you just rattled off there, been a big part of it. Kyle's been around the gym as well. Just haven't got, Spencer actually was in the other day. So, anytime you can get former players back on campus, I think it just speaks to, how meaningful their experience was. And I think that resonates with everybody. But then, of course, when you talk about Danny Ainge or Ryan Smith or whoever these guys are, these are people that move the needle in a big, big way. And I think that's really one of the special things about BYU, and honestly something I had to learn myself. I always knew what a great environment the Marriott Center was, but I don't think I really understood the global brand of BYU until I came here. And just seeing those guys around and how they're still connected to the program, I really think speaks to that.
Years ago, and I'm gonna call on your ability. You said you learned how to say things simply, so I'm gonna ask you a question that you're gonna have to simplify, so our audience all around the world will understand what we're talking about here,
including our wives.
Yeah, including our wives. When we call a basketball game, when Dave and I do, we always say we need to make it so that our moms understand what we're talking about, and then we'll reach most of the audience, right? So we have to. So I'm giving you that preface to this question. So long ago, and I'm not sure what crazy place it was around the world that you came up with this, but you developed a defensive concept called the peel switch. BYU fans will see that this season. Kevin Young's talked about how he loves to coach offense and how he's really excited because you're such a good defensive specialist. What is the peel switch, and what are we looking for when we see it this fall and into the winter of this basketball season?
Yeah, well, it really kind of grew organically out of one of my coaching experiences. So when I was coaching the Angola national team, we had a player there named Reggie Moore who was in the tail end of his career. Didn't really move that well, but was one of our best shooters and a guy that we needed to play. And what I would notice just in our own practice situations is that anytime he was isolated on the perimeter, his teammates would direct him on essentially where to get beaten, and then they would just, in my mind, peel off their guys, but they would switch in that manner, right? So rather than stay connected and really try to fight to get back in front, the second that Reggie realized he was beaten, he would peel off his man and take the other player's man, and they would switch that way. And so I was watching them do it, and I just thought, man, this might be something we could build around. And that's really how it started. So just seeing where that group could go with it, learning some things that worked, learning some things that didn't work, and then taking those concepts and applying them to other teams. And then it's just been wild to see how the concept has taken off. So, I get stuff sent to me all the time. Even watching the NBA playoffs this year and even the finals. I mean, the Mavs do it a ton. Boston does it some as well. They call it peel switching too, which I think is really cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Like the original term is stuck. But essentially it's that, and really to like boil it down, like you said, to the grandmas and wives and moms out there who aren't maybe familiar with basketball. Typically, if you're beaten, you would commit 2 people to stopping the ball.
Gotcha.
And I think peel switching in a nutshell is the thought that rather than do it that way, we want to try to stay matched up one-on-one as much as possible. And I think that's really where today's game has gone, right? Like they put you in long rotations and you just can't get out to the perimeter in time, and eventually they find open threes. So peel switching boiled down to its basic is that we're not going to put 2 on the ball.
I love that. I can't wait to watch it and for you to teach me a little bit about it. And in practice so that we can point it out for folks when we're watching the games this year and we're calling them. That'll be fun.
It's the new thing now. It's the peel switch. It's
the
what
peel
we're doing.
switch. Yeah, and people are, they hear Kevin Young say, hey, we really love this group that we're recruiting because they're all long, they're all athletic, and we're going to have times where we have 5 guys on the floor where we'll be able to switch 1 through 5, or we'll be able to switch 1 through 4, and this comes into play. This concept of peel switching will come into play and even enhance that ability to have all those guys on the floor that can switch and cover anybody. It really maximizes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think too another area that our guys will excel at is the better you communicate with one another, the better you'll be at the defense. And I think that's a strength of ours. Just watching how our guys interact with each other already, I think this is something that can really lend towards that strength.
Couple more questions with Will Voigt. Hinckley Ropati is just around the corner, running the ball this fall for BYU football. Coach, take us inside the coaches' meeting. There's Coach Young, there's you, there's Brandon Dunson, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, Chris Burgess, Tim Fanning, John Linehan, Doug Stewart, Chief of Staff, Jordan Brady, Player Development, and Nate Austin. It's a big room, Director of Operations. Who's the funniest of those guys?
Oh, wow. I think Doug for sure.
Doug?
Yeah,
All right.
I would get my vote.
Who's all business? Who's all business?
Who is all business in our group? You know what? To be honest, like we really have a good balance and chemistry within like all of us. I would say Nate is the most all business, but only because his position forces him to do that. So, he's the guy that truly gets things done. So if he were joking around too much, we'd probably all fall apart as a staff.
Okay. What about who's most likely to buy everybody lunch?
I'm gonna have to, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna go with myself.
Nice.
Nobody has bought me anything so far, so
You need to hang out with us, Will, because
we'll take care of
Dave
you.
and I will take care of you.
All right, how about
But those
this one?
guys won't.
Who is most likely to get a technical foul during a game not named Kevin Young?
oh man, I feel bad saying this, but I'm gonna go with Linehan. he's got that Philly feisty to him, so I can
All
see
right,
him.
fascinating. Okay, now we're going to turn the spotlight on you, and we'll wrap this up with 5 quick
Yeah,
questions.
these are ones that we just ask you, Coach, so you just, right off the top of your head, whatever you're thinking, we get to know you that way. So we're going to start with number 1, your favorite sports movie.
Hoosiers.
Nice.
Yep. Same as Marie Osmond, by the way.
that's good
I don't even know if
company.
you know who Marie Osmond is, but she was on the show. She said Hoosiers.
Hoosiers.
She had to. She married a basketball player.
That's
So
true.
there you go. Your favorite singer or band?
Radiohead.
Oh, man.
That's a first for us, radio.
Yeah, and I love that choice. We haven't heard that. That's great. Okay. This is one that's all over the place.
More of a character reveal.
Yeah, this one really tells who you are. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
Honey Nut Cheerios.
All right.
All right.
That's a good one. Like, we only make fun of people that choose cereals that don't have any sugar on them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Danny Ainge, who eats shredded wheat without the frosted part on it.
You'll have to talk to him about
we
that.
Yeah.
can't do that.
No, that's craziness. Your favorite sports moment of all time?
That I was involved in, or just
or
And
just
it could be anything. Anything you've watched, were involved with. Like, you just go, this is my favorite sports moment.
Wow. Well, I grew up in Vermont, and I'd have to say watching the Red Sox finally win a World Series was something I'll definitely remember.
Did you grow up with the Red Sox? Did you get over and get to games over there?
Yeah, so Vermont doesn't have their own professional team, right? So we border New York and Massachusetts, and depending on which part of the state you live in, which would be, which team you root for. And to put it in context, I remember being woken up as a young boy to what my parents thought was going to be history in Game 6 against the Mets.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I remember being woken up to watch them blow it.
Oh no!
Then they
So
did
that
they
was
send you
like
back to
seared
bed?
in my brain, right? So then to finally see them actually win one was pretty special.
Listen, as a Cubs fan, I can relate to your joy.
Yeah. And to your frustration, because Dave has had
and
some
all
of that
that
too.
as well.
So I was your neighbor growing up. I grew up in upstate New York.
Oh wow!
But Yankees fans. We were in the part of the state that were Yankees fans, and one of my buddies was the voice of the Red Sox that I had broadcast with. So I went over to the park, sat with him in the press box, went behind the Green Monster. Like, he just took us on this tour, went into the clubhouse, got to be there on the field for batting practice. Now all of a sudden I'm in this giant, I could wear Red Sox shirts, and my friends back in New York are ready to kill me. They think that's no matter what experience I had over there.
That's crossing the line.
Yeah, no matter what experience I had, I'm still supposed to be a Yankees guy, but I love the Red Sox now. Isn't that great? It's such a historic place.
Love it. Yeah, no, Fenway is special, but you are brave, because I would never wear a Red Sox shirt in Yankee Stadium. I would fear for my life doing that.
And I lost my accent, so my friends are like, "What happened to you? You've completely forsaken your roots," but that's okay.
We don't own any White Sox gear either.
No,
at the McCann House.
not at the McCann House. So
don't do that.
So now this one, we're going to take a little. This last question is because of the week that it is. We want to know what your favorite thing about the 4th of July is.
Oh, it's definitely family and friends. For me, any opportunity to just relax and be around the people that you love is a special one. And I don't want to lose sight of what the meaning of 4th of July is in terms of our country. But just the gathering of, I think, all your close loved ones is always a special time for me.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good one. If you haven't been around for the fireworks at Stadium of Fire, you're in for a treat this week. And Dave MC's.
Yeah, I'll see you down there.
Dave,
Get inside
are you guys
there.
going, or are you just going to watch it from the outside? Or?
Well, hey, I need a ticket hookup, so I didn't even realize that there's still maybe a possibility to get in the building. So
I know there are some.
How many do you need?
I know there are some still available.
I need 2 tickets.
I think between Dave and I, we might be able to figure something out. So
I've got a peel switch clinic in exchange for 2 tickets.
Okay, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out for you.
I'm gonna send a text message out when we're done, and within minutes, I think we can meet your
we probably have you
need here.
taken care of. So
Okay. All right. Hey, we're so happy to have you here. We look forward to getting to know you and calling your games and spending time with your staff. It sounds like an awesome group. You put together a fun lineup, and people are buzzing about BYU basketball on the first day of July, and they just don't normally do that. So congratulations. You guys are already undefeated. Haven't played a game yet, but everyone's running around going, we're undefeated. So nice job.
Yeah, it's the best time of year. Let's keep it rolling.
Keep those good vibes going. Thanks for coming on with us, Will. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Love the show. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, and I'll get back to you on those seats. Will Voigt with us on the Wise Guys tonight, and Brandon Dunson was on the other week, and this is just a fun. And Chris Burgess was on.
Came on with us right after the announcement.
Just they got it rolling.
And we're gonna get Kevin on.
We're shooting in August.
Shooting for him, and
we want his wife.
He and his wife, and that's actually harder to schedule.
Yeah, everyone's got Kevin. We want
Kevin and his wife. So that's what we're gonna do.
So we mentioned the men's basketball schedule out in the Big 12. The women's was out too. We'll announce that and talk about it. We won't announce it. We'll talk about it a bit later in the show. We also invite you to follow us at wiseguys.com and subscribe to get our weekly email with highlights from the show and all of our past interviews. Let's bring in the man who has joined us. We're looking forward to this. As Hinckley Ropati takes his seat, DJ, will you show that picture? BYU today rolled out an old school look for a new uniform to add to their mix for their 100th season. They're bringing back this right here, the all whites with royal and black trim. This is from the 1996 season where they went 14-1. It's an awesome look. The Cougars are going to wear it on September 21st for the Big 12 home opener against Kansas State. You know, Blaine, that's the same look they wore when they beat Kansas State in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day 1997.
Finished number 5 in the country that year. So the last time they wore that.
Hinckley, what do you think of these?
Those are so clean. It's funny because I didn't even know we were announcing these. I didn't even know these were like in the works or anything. Like,
really?
I didn't know anything about it. It wasn't until one of my boys, Mason Fakahua, he texted me.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think the new uniform is going to be? and he sent me the the blue uniform is the same.
Right.
Only in reverse,
the
yeah.
reverse.
Yeah, they
I thought like, oh,
they beat
they
beat Texas A&M in those uniforms.
Yeah,
the blue ones.
You can see a number 7 in that and looking pretty sharp out there.
Yes,
I'm already a huge fan of the all white ones, and so
they look good.
the fact that we're doing those, I'm super excited for them.
Especially at home. Those are going to be crisp under the lights at the stadium. I love that look. A couple of key dates before we dive into our interview with Hinckley. Stadium of Fire, of course, Thursday with the Jonas Brothers. That's just a few days away. The stadium will be full, and then the next time it's full, it'll be when Hinckley comes out.
And you know what? I have kind of lost track of the Jonas Brothers, but my daughter-in-law, we were on a walk, Gavin's wife, and she played some songs. And I'm like, oh, I like the Jonas Brothers. This is going to be really, really fun. And so, yeah, Jonas Brothers will be great. July 9th and 10th, Big 12 Media Days at Allegiant Stadium down in Las Vegas. That's next week.
Yeah.
Can't even believe it.
Next week.
So
then on the 30th of this month, the Cougars report to camp, and we report to After Further Review.
That's right.
Season premiere on July 30th on BYU TV. We're looking forward to that.
4 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's upon us. And then BYU Sports Nation Game Day. Season premieres August 31st on BYU TV and ESPN Plus. We'll be taking you into the first game. It starts at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And that'll be on ESPN Plus all around the world, and then on BYU TV all around the world.
So our next guest, we've had Olympians and coaches, and now we've got the man who's going to carry the football. Can't wait to get back on the field and start up fall camp. Missed last year with an ACL. He's back. He's healthy. He'll be the featured running back when the Cougars take the field next month against Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
That's next month. Our pleasure to welcome Hinckley Ropati to the Wise Guys. How does it feel to have the wait just about over?
Oh man, it's exciting. I mean, everybody's looking forward to it, especially with the preparation that's gone into this off season. We're super excited.
Yeah, and I personally know Hinckley's been putting the work in because I caught him putting work in today, right? So, and you told me that you had a chance to work out with Tyler Algier earlier today.
Yeah.
And then when you were done with your workout with Tyler, you met Neil Pau, and you were getting a workout in with Neil this afternoon. That's when I saw you at the gym. This is a week where you guys are off and you're on your own, but you haven't taken a break. You're connecting with some of the alums that played before you that you're good friends with, and you're working out with them. What's that like to train and get together with Tyler Algier, who's an old teammate and now having great success in the NFL?
No, for sure. I mean, like I like to. I mean, it's always good, especially in this off season when the pro guys get their break and you get to pick their brain when they get into town. And so Tyler usually comes every off season. He finds kind of a week just to come out. We kind of find time to work out and just hang out. And so that happens to be this week. And so he's actually down for me and my wife's baby shower this Saturday. So that's actually the event why he's ended up coming this week. And so we've just been hanging out, getting work in and so forth. And so. But yeah, I've actually been able to work with other guys like Jalen Warren, who plays for Pittsburgh Steelers. So I've worked out with him and some other college guys. We've been working out together with Matt Asiata, who trains up there in Harriman. So we usually do running back stuff with him. And
sometimes I see Matt in the gym. We always talk and visit. When we get to go stretch over on the green carpet, he and I'll just talk about what's going on. So
no, exactly. So being able to work with those pro guys, it's honestly a huge blessing because you get to kind of get an insight on how it really works at the next level and kind of figure out, where you are, stack up against those guys and how you can, improve what areas that you can get better at. And so it's good.
Speaking of stacking up, a lot of times Blaine doesn't like guys coming on the show that have bigger guns.
Yeah, he's bigger.
But clearly,
Hinckley's guns are bigger.
We removed that restriction.
Yeah,
for
DJ,
tonight.
let's get this shot because everybody they're always like, oh man, Blaine's got guns.
Show your guns.
These guns compared to these
veins?
guns are nothing.
This man's veins is ridiculous. Come on now, look at this.
So Neil always tells me, Paul was always like, hey, for an old guy, you look good. I'm like, Neil, why do you have to qualify it like that? Why do you got to say for an old guy? Can't I just look good? He's like, well, you look good, but for an old guy, you look really good. I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
That's Neil. He's going to shoot it straight.
Hinckley, let's talk about your knee, the ACL, 11 months since you went down with that injury.
Yes, sir.
Are you fully back, ready to go, and what's it been like getting back?
So it was actually it was a meniscus and an MCL.
Okay.
So my ACL was my first injury, right, and that was my first year.
Right.
And the left knee that I had that happened last fall was actually an MCL, and my meniscus was fully detached, my lateral meniscus, and so obviously that took me out the timing of it's not as bad as an ACL.
Okay,
but
that's good.
The timing of it was right before, it was right in fall camp, which took me out for 5 months, right? And so it's definitely been everybody knows who've been through injuries. It's more of a mental battle than it is physical. You can usually bounce right back physically. It's just kind of getting over that mental hump that I can make those cuts again. I can make those plays again. And so, being able to, they weren't gonna let me do spring at all. The objective this whole off season is just get healthy, stay healthy for fall, and then that's all that's been. But I firmly believe that I needed to do spring ball, and I needed that to kind of feel confident, get back into it, and get over that mental hump, and that's exactly what happened. And so, was able to have this spring ball to kind of just get my feet back under me, and I actually feel like I'm ready to go fully healthy. So yeah.
You mentioned the timing of it this last year, right when you were going to be relied on to be a big part of the run game, and then the run game struggled this last year. How did you manage through that? It had to be wanting to be out there to be able to help the team, knowing you couldn't. What was that like?
I'm gonna be honest. It was very, very frustrating. I mean, sometimes if I'm being honest with you guys, there's times where I turn off the game and just go back and rewatch the replay where I can rewind and so forth, just because sometimes it's frustrating, and a big part of it was just obviously we just, I feel like we weren't on the same page in the offensive side of the ball. I feel like there was a lot of times that there was a disconnect, and a big part of it is us as running backs being able to set up our runs for the O linemen, making their job easier and stuff and so forth. And so I felt like a lot of it just comes with reps. Obviously we had guys that came into the system and great players, you know what I mean, did their thing, but there was just so much also inexperience as well within the O line, and it's awesome to see this past spring, to see all those guys kind of come out of their shell and really grasp the playbook and kind of what's that called, grow so much from the past season. And so
we watched that we've talked about it on the show, and others have been on. Darius came on and talked about exactly what you're talking about. And during spring ball, as I got to watch, it was almost like I just watched light bulbs going on across the front on offense.
Yeah.
It's like in different positions, like, oh, he just figured it out. Like, he's starting to dominate.
Yep.
And so when people say, why do you think BYU is going to be so much better? I've been saying, I just think everybody's on the same page and knows more what they're doing. In your mind, is that a big part of why you'll improve this fall? And what else is there? There's that part of everybody knowing what they're doing. Is there anything else that you think will help BYU be better this fall?
I think it stems from that itself. Not just the biggest thing is for me as a player is I was able to fully kind of just be me as a player and really just go out there and play when I knew exactly what you're doing out there. When you're not worried, you're not second guessing what your assignment is and things like that. You can really now you're just relying on your abilities. You're going out there and just playing. I feel like with that comes confidence, and so I feel like that's another factor that stems from knowing our playbook and really understanding the offense in depth. And so the fact that everyone's starting to get on that page, and you can see it in spring ball, I think that's what's gonna really propel us and really have a great season. Get back to the explosive offense that we're used to watching.
Hinckley Ropati on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus. Hinckley's 5'9". Now the roster says 215. I'm guessing a little more than that. Where you at?
A little bit. I mean, I hover around 220, 225.
Is that where you want to be?
I usually go into training camp around that weight, and then by the end of the season, I usually fall down to 215.
215.
Just from work practice and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to come in a little heavy, put some. Fall camp, it's
what's Tyler weigh? Is he like 225?
Yeah, he's around the same.
He's about the same size. Yeah.
225.
And height wise, he's really similar, isn't he? Or is he maybe an inch taller?
He's tall. He's a couple inches taller.
He's 5'11". I think he's 5'11".
5'11", right?
Yeah. But most running back people, maybe not realizing in the NFL, that range typically there's a few guys taller.
Yeah.
They're Adrian Peterson's tall, but 5'9" to 5'11" is kind of the what running backs in the NFL are, right? And 210 to 230. Right,
yeah,
so you're right in that perfect.
Yeah,
and I don't think people understand that running backs are a little closer to the ground. Why is that an advantage?
Well, for me, it's a huge advantage. I feel like, especially with my past experience since being here. It's hard to also find someone that's a lot smaller than the guys that are blocking from. You know what I mean? It's very hard to keep track of. But at the same time, especially when we're running between tackles, you're making such sudden cuts and stuff like that, and it helps to be low to the ground. And so I think that's why I mean, I feel like that's what benefits me from,
And the first part, him meaning they can't see him.
Yeah.
So if you're on defense, he just pops out in a gap, and then they're on their heels, and then Hinckley just runs over him or around him, right?
Those 6'7" linemen help to hide
for sure.
hide you a little bit. Last time we saw you on the field, BYU was beating Boise State, Stanford, and SMU at the end of 2022. So August 31st is next month. How eager are you to get out there and get the football back in your belly and do something?
I'm super eager. I think I'm just really excited just to be out there with the boys again, playing out there with the boys, suiting up again with them. It's like I say, it's a mental battle when you're not playing, when you're not being able to suit up and be there with the boys on Saturday nights. And so that's the one thing I'm looking forward to the most, is just being able to be out there with my brothers again and obviously being able to, produce and make plays for the team. And so I'm really looking forward to it. I've been itching since I went down, and then watching last season and how that played out. It was very disappointing just to not be able to obviously make a bowl game and the way the season ended and stuff like that. So I think everybody's hungry, to get back and not only meet expectations but excel, those expectations, and so yeah, we're super excited, man.
This off season, there's some changes in the coaching staff. You guys still have Harvey as your running backs coach, so you still have the same coach in your room. We have a new run game coordinator in TJ. He's been on the show with us. Kevin Gilbride's the tight ends coach. He's really involved in the run game because those tight ends are attached and block. He's been on the show with us. And there's been a huge emphasis through spring ball on getting the run game back. What's it been like in that running back room with that emphasis, and who else can we look to in that running back that's going to be in that running back room that's going to be a big part of what you guys do this fall?
No, I've said this before. The new coaches that we just hired this past spring have been a huge factor in the spring ball and why our success is, why I can see it really rolling now. Because a big part of it is you can see the O-line finally really kind of everything just clicking, and you can see the development of younger guys that's been there for been here for a year or two. They've looked, in my opinion, they've never looked better than they did in one spring ball than they did in the last 2 years they've been here. And a big part of it is just how simple Coach Woods is able to break down the run game, and he does the same thing with the running backs. We had a meeting, I think, one time during spring ball where he just brought all the running backs and all the O-linemen together in one room, and we went through film together, which is something you think that we should be doing more often, and so just to be able to see how they block and how our tracks affects the way they, what I mean? And so all of that, I think it's going to be a huge factor. And then obviously Gilbride, getting all the tight ends and us and the O-line all on the same page, it's going to be huge. And so, I mean, in the running back room, we definitely have some dogs in there. So, and a lot of young talent. I mean, you guys already know, Miles Davis, having him being able to get back out there, and then LJ Martin as well,
right.
True freshman last year. And the kid's going to be really special. And so I'm excited to see what those guys do this year. And then we have a lot of younger guys that are just coming on the scene, right? Some freshmen like None and Pokai and Charlie. And so it's really exciting to see those guys develop and see how they can contribute, this year.
You said something which was an ultimate BYU moment. You get ready for this big season in the Big 12, also coordinating a baby shower coming up this week. Yeah. This is the full BYU life, isn't it?
That's the BYU experience.
Yeah, that's what they say, right?
Tell us what feels the best. Scoring a 48-yard touchdown on a screen pass at Boise State, or running for a 43-yard touchdown through the Stanford defense?
Oh man, I think the Boise State one was definitely special, just because it was the first. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you're always going to remember your first. And so that was definitely a surreal experience. And so I that's the only reason why I put that. But I take a run over a pass. I mean, I love the rushing yards more than receiving yards, but definitely that I put that one as number one.
Let's touch on your journey for a moment. A couple more questions with Hinckley Ropati. Keelan Marion just came into the house. He's going to join us in a few minutes. We're going to ask you about Keelan in a minute as well, and then we'll ask Keelan about you.
But Keelan gets the last word, which I've heard that's the case a lot, that Keelan gets the last word.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
So stand by.
That's my guy right there.
So your journey is fascinating, and we've had a chance to experience it. BYU comes to recruit you your senior year of high school, and they tell your coach they thought you were too small, and that ticks you off. devastating. You serve a mission in the Philippines. You get bigger, get a little physical, and develop spiritually, and then BYU comes back when you're at Cerritos, and you're kind of not all that excited to see them. Your mom is, but you're not, because you're still bugged about high school, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so much for first impressions.
Yeah, exactly.
How motivating was the snub, we'll call it, and then you go full circle to where you're going to carry the football maybe on the first play of the game next month?
Honestly, it's been real motivating. Like you said, I mean, you know, I feel like I've always played with a chip on my shoulder, and so that chip just got bigger when BYU, especially, you know, BYU, like growing up as a BYU fan.
Yeah.
Super excited, and you know, they came to check you out and so forth, and then just to find that out, you know, it was definitely a big motivator for me. And so I kind of just went on my mission, and I just forgot about that. You know what I mean? I knew that, you know, my dad always, he told me, he gave me a blessing. I remember the first thing he said was like, or the most prominent thing I remember was that if I just go and just forget about everything else, and then, you know, I'll come back and everything will be taken care of. And I just remember, you know, the last couple months before mission, I knew like, I'm not going to go to Dixie State anymore. I'm gonna come back and take the JUCO route, and, you know, bet on myself, and, you know, and then things start to unfold. And then when BYU, like you said, started getting attention, I definitely wasn't that excited, but that's after that was before I met, you know, Harvey. You know, it was AJ Stewart first who was recruiting me, and then Harvey came into the picture, and I think it was just a match there. You know what I mean? Talking to Harvey Young and then seeing his perspective and how he coaches and the way he, you know, brings up players, and I felt like that's something that just fits me very well. And so,
in this same time period over the last couple of years, the two women that are in your life that are most important, your mom, Lena, passes away, and you marry Talon, and both are so impactful. And we learned more about your mom after the Boise State game. Could you talk about a little bit about how meaningful those touchdowns, that touchdown was for you, and how's that shaped you? How was having your mom and actually and letting her go back, right? Giving her up for a while. How has that impacted you?
Man, it's been how would you say? It's been a huge. I feel like it's probably the biggest. How would you say, like, trial I've ever gone through in my life, you know? And so it's impacted me and my family tremendously, just because of who she is and who she was to us and our family. You know, she wasn't just our mom. She handled everything. And so my dad, it was just, you know, everybody knows, but my family, my dad, all he did was just bring in the bread. You know what I mean? He just worked and he did that. My mom took care of everything. So for a while, when we lost her back in 2020, it was a very confusing time for us. We were lost for a little bit, trying to understand how to figure out how she did things, and, you know, and so forth. So we weren't just, and then luckily, you know, but my dad was definitely a huge rock to us, and always reminded us of, you know, Christ and his plan for us, and our Savior and their plan for us. And we kind of just always trusted that. And so I felt like, you know, going through that, it definitely just motivated me to just spiritually to do the right things, and to always try to remember what she did when she was here on earth, you know, and how she served others. And I kind of use that to the way I kind of use that to kind of as a blueprint for my life, you know, and try to do the same as I go about, you know. And so I feel like that's been the biggest thing. Even been hearing at BYU, my mom is probably the most patient person, and she had to be raising me. You know, there's 7 of us. I'm the second oldest, but I always say this all the time to my siblings, but, you know, I was her favorite, but I was her biggest headache, you know. And so, you know, seeing her having that patience, and not just with me, but with all my siblings, you know, it definitely helped me with my patience when I got here, you know, seeing the way she was. And because, you know, things didn't just started rolling for me when I first got here, you know. Right. It was definitely, like you said, it was a journey. And so there could have been a lot of times where I could have just said, you know what, maybe it's time to, you know, move on or whatever it be. But no, like just remembering her example and understanding how that, you know, how patience work. And I just knew if I just continue to put my head down and keep working, you know, everything would just work itself out, you know. And so.
Well, now you're about to become a dad, right?
Yes, sir.
And
when's the baby due?
So she's due on September 13th. So yeah, it's
September 13th. Where are we playing the 12th? Where are we the 12th?
It's Wyoming week.
Is that why? That's Wyoming's the 14th, right?
Yeah. So
September. So is it? It's going to come a little earlier.
Let's have this baby like on Monday of that week. Can we have a baby on Monday of that week?
We're hoping it's either Monday or
let Dave and
later.
I talk to the OB. We might be able to arrange some things to get this thing to come.
You need to be there, and you need to be in Laramie, and you can't be both places. classes. So
No, you have to be there. So we're gonna see if we can't arrange to have this on Monday, to have the baby on Monday. You're having a little girl, right?
Yeah, we're having a little
you're
girl.
having a little girl.
what are some of your feelings about that? Becoming a dad and having a family, and now it's your own Ropatis, your own group.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal. I mean, it's something that I've always aspired to be since I was young. You know what I mean? Seeing the examples of my parents and my dad and how he raised us. I've always, bringing up as a youth and, serving a mission and so forth. I've always had that in the back of my head. Like, I've aspired to be a dad, and something that it's probably the most important thing to me, is to be a father. And I'm super excited that it's finally happening. It's the timing is kind of off right now because obviously it's happening in September.
In September, yeah.
I promise you that wasn't planned, but hey, we'll take it. And so we're super excited. It's really been humbling too. It definitely put things into perspective. But at the same time, I feel like I really won't know until I hold that little girl in my hands. And so it's gonna be surreal because we're naming her actually after my mom, and so it's something that's gonna be super special. And so
It'll be great.
It'll be awesome.
We want you to have the baby here on Monday that week, because I've experienced the other. We were 8 months pregnant and we're playing in a bowl game against Missouri.
Yeah.
And my wife decided to fly down on the team charter, and we had Kellen at the bowl game in San Diego on the road.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's do it at home.
Let's not do that. Let's do it here.
And no way are you having her in Laramie. There's no way
no
that.
reason to go to Laramie other than to play a football game. There was a reason to go to San Diego for a bowl game. We're playing the Holiday Bowl, so I've done it here in Provo, and we've done it on the road. I recommend it home.
Okay.
It's better. So.
That's kind of the plan. So
Hinckley Ropati's on the Wise Guys with us, back ready and healthy. Going to run BYU into their second season in the Big 12. Team reports later this month. They kick off the season next month. Before we hit you up with 5 questions and get you out of the door, we have a bonus question tonight too, so it'll be 6.
That's right.
How important has the Royal Blue Collective been for you and your experience at BYU?
Oh, it's been massive. It's awesome to be able to, have that support from them. I don't think people understand. Like it's awesome just to be able to focus on playing football. Like that's all I worried about now. I used to pick up summer internships and used to do whatever I need to do to get by the summer. But the fact that we have the Royal Blue now, it's been huge. Like now I can completely focus on my recovery, rehab, and being a husband to my wife and just focusing on football because this is the year and that's all I'm worried about. And so being able to have them there, and it's not just the financial support, it's also the mentorship that we get from them. And I think that's the most important part about the Royal Blue Collective. Being able to meet with people who've been in our shoes and have went past that, you know what I mean, have done great things after football and understanding there's life after football and seeing all the different avenues and opportunities that we can do if we just apply the same mindset that we have in football and into those things. And so it's been really awesome. Great.
Hey, here's a question from the live stream. Where is Ropati registered at? Where are you guys registered at so folks can send some baby gifts?
Oh, I appreciate you. We're actually registered on Amazon and Target. I don't really have like the info with me, but maybe later we can throw it up or something. I have it on my phone, but yeah.
Amazon or Target, Ropatis are registered. So now you know, and it's a little girl, so spend wisely. Yep. That's awesome. I think he's ready, Blaine.
Yes, we'll give you your 5 questions. We actually have a bonus, so we have a 6. So, your favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie?
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
I think that's number 1, isn't it, Dave?
It's got to be.
That's got to be number 1 of all time on the show over the 2 years of this show. Your favorite singer or band?
Favorite singer or band?
Keelan, you're getting these too, so pay attention.
Yeah, he's listening. It's not fair. We should make him go into do a soundproof room. But
all right, singer or band?
I'm a huge country person, so I love Luke Combs right now. So that's my number 1 right now. We actually went to a concert not too long ago.
He was just here, wasn't he?
He was just here, but we went to his previous concert in Texas, in Austin. So, my wife and her family is from there, so, the Round Rock area, and so we went out there and we saw a show, and that was a great experience.
I served my mission in the Austin area.
Really?
Many moons ago. Great place.
Yeah, Luke Combs is good. Well, I'm not going to promote something, but anyhow, we went out to dinner the other night at a place, and they have live country music every Friday night. I'm like, why are we not coming here every Friday night?
Wow.
It was
That's
so
nice.
good. I'll tell you after.
All right.
So your favorite breakfast cereal?
Favorite breakfast cereal? Captain Crunch.
Classic.
That's
Yeah,
his.
I liked you.
Just plain, or do you like the crunch berries or the?
With the crunch berries.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
see,
say-
With the crunch berries now we're talking.
The thing is, though, I can do plain as well.
Yeah, I
think
take 'em
just
straight.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you have to have the crunch berries because they're a little rounder, so you
I'm
don't
gonna say-
completely cut the roof
I'm
of your
going to
mouth.
say nicer things about you on BYU TV this year
You're
because
just,
we
you're just making
bonded
him feel
on
good
Captain
because
Crunch.
he's just plain old Captain Crunch.
The thing is, though, you can only, if any like real Captain Crunch eaters know that you can't eat them too much. I don't know if everybody goes through the experience, but like
You got to be
They'll
patient.
cut the roof of
They'll
your mouth.
cut the
up.
roof of your mouth.
You gotta be
got
patient.
You
problems
gotta,
with
yeah, exactly.
that. Like
It's discipline. It's
I'm
discipline.
so much against plain Captain Crunch that we were down in St. George, and in the aisle they only had plain Captain Crunch and then plain Crunch Berries. So I took them, I put them all in a bowl
Together.
and mixed them up and put them back in the two boxes, all Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, so Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Your favorite sports moment?
Favorite sports moment? Here at BYU?
It can be it could be anything you've ever done. It could be at Cerritos. It could be anything.
I think, let's see here. My favorite sports moment was probably my first touchdown. I think that was just
The Boise State one.
the Boise State
Yeah.
one. I think it was just a long time coming type experience, you know what I mean? And just being able to, especially the way the season was going during that time, right? We're on a 4-game losing streak, and there was just so much emotion going into that game. And so, yeah, that definitely was a special one for me.
Yeah, I remember saying after that play, why don't we throw him 10 of those a game? Just throw him 10 screens a game. But we didn't. Nobody listens to me.
That's why we got Keelan.
So
Come on,
yeah,
man.
we'll throw Keelan some screens too. My idea is, hey Aaron, A-Rod, let's get our great players the ball in space. He knows that. So okay, your favorite advice that your mom Lena ever gave you?
Oh, I think the biggest thing, it really wasn't advice she gave me. It was more of just her example. And that was just to always serve others, no matter what your circumstances are. You know what I mean? She is the definition of the person who will literally give her clothes off her back. The last food I remember growing up, and my parents would literally, I would see them give food away, and I'm all like, wow, we're starving too, but okay, yeah, And so definitely seeing that example, that's something that I feel like I carry with myself everywhere I go. And so
I love that.
Awesome. All right, here's a bonus
So
question.
this is the bonus question.
We just do 5 for you doing 6.
but we're doing 6 because this is important. What's your favorite thing about Keelan Marion?
Oh man, he has a dog mentality. I'm telling you right
He
now.
does?
Man. That mentality is different. So like, and everybody knows on the team, bro. Like, Keelan, there's nothing you can talk about anything about him. You can jab him about anything. He can take a joke, but when it comes to football, like no, he takes that serious. Like you can't knock on his mentality and the way he approaches the game every single day, the workouts and stuff like that, the way he shows up and stuff like that. Like everybody always try to, when you come at that, then now it's personal, you know what I mean? And I love that about him, the way he takes that, and so
Is
you
Ke-
can see it
is-
every day with the way he works, and so
Is he the fastest on the team?
yeah, I put him up there for sure.
Or because Marcus, like he's all bragging, Mackenzie.
Marcus, I don't know.
And Kingston still thinks he's
and
got.
Kingston's like, he's like, what
We
about
have
me?
so
What
many
about me?
fast dudes on the team.
I don't
like.
Yeah, there's
even
there are some
Maury
fast
Bamba,
guys.
It's like,
Maury's
he's
he
up
can
there.
fly, huh? Yeah.
He can fly.
Yeah,
so-
he can really run,
but
too.
Keelan's definitely up there for sure.
I mean, we probably just named the top 4 right there.
probably
We
did,
probably
yeah.
did.
if
didn't
there was a slice of pizza 40 yards away, just one, and those 4 are running for it, who gets it?
I think I'm getting it. A slice of pizza. I don't think these guys are worried about the slice of pizza.
Slice of pizza. Connor Pay's going to knock all 4 of them out and walk
Exactly.
over and get the slice
I'm
of
gonna
pizza.
knock 'em out the
Connor,
way and
knock
then
them
I'm
out,
gonna get
walk
to
and
it.
get the pizza. That's what Connor's going to do.
It's great to have you. Great to have you here.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Congratulations on the family that's on the way. Give our best to your wife, and we'll see you at practice.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
And I
Appreciate
think
you
you're
guys.
going to hang out in our green room. We'll tape some things for Cougar Board
Okay,
in
yeah.
just a bit. But Hinckley Ropati. By the way, there's a great Deep Blue on Hinckley at BYUTV.org that you can watch. You can also find it on YouTube, and it's good stuff. All right, brother, you're out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Your brother's
Let's
in.
go.
Thanks, Keelan.
Our next
Thanks,
guest
Hinckley.
is getting ready for his second season at BYU. 6 feet, 195 pounds. Is that right? Yes, sir. Is that 195? Transfer from UConn, headlines a receiving core that's as deep as we can remember at BYU. Our pleasure to welcome to the Wise Guys one of the great personalities on the football team, Keelan Marion. We actually have had 2 of the best personalities on the football team here tonight
That's
with
right.
Hinckley and Keelan. Let's just get right to it. First of all, welcome.
What's going on?
Good to
How
have
y'all
you
doing?
here. Welcome to the Wise Guys. This is where we hang out on Monday nights.
And we rearranged because at first we had the Utes in a more prominent. Now we stuck them back in the corner.
Yeah, put them back in.
We put them back over there. So
Hey, Michael Zimmerman has already made a purchase for your baby shower, so good to have that coming.
that's awesome.
Let's go right to the big question of the night. What do you think of Hinckley Ropati? What comes to mind when someone says, "Hey, do you know Hinckley Ropati?"
Yeah, to me, Hink's just a silent killer. Like, he doesn't walk around the locker room loud, not a loud guy, very humble. You know, he's very chill. Like, when Hink comes in the building, like, he just get to work. I don't like the opposite. I would be a little more louder, you know what I'm saying, make people hear me, but Hink's just that guy. He's just gonna come in, head down, keep a smile on his face, push everyone to work. That's what I like. He's like one of the first guys I was talking to, like, the most as I came here.
Really?
Like, every day after routes on air, like, Hinckley would tell me, like, man, you got some great routes. Like, just tell me stuff I can work on. And, you know, he's a running back. You know, some guys wouldn't accept that from a guy that's, you know what I'm saying, that's older.
Right.
Or, you know, by me being new to the team, you know, he just always gave me a bunch of advice. Every time I see him, I'm walking out the locker room, I say, "What's up, Hink? See you later, Hink." Like, the name Hink just stuck with me from the jump when I first met him, too. So, Aiden Robbins had got me attached to him because they worked out a lot.
How valuable is it for him to be healthy for this ground game to get back?
Oh, he's very valuable because, you know, you have LJ, who had a great freshman season,
Yeah.
you know, even though he's still a young guy.
Right.
And you have Miles Davis also in the pack with them too. Speed guy. You know, Miles, an older guy. You know, I feel like you still need that older vet in the room because, you know, Hink was here before Miles Davis. So, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like Hink has that more veteran respect in that room.
Yeah, I was asking Gavin, my son, Coach Fowler,
Yes, sir.
and about Hinckley, and he said, "You should see this dude. Like, his leg strength is ridiculous." I go, "What can he squat?" And he says, "A house."
He can.
Can he squat a house?
Yes, he can. I wish I had those
Something
legs.
like that is not a weight; it's a house that he can squat. I'm like, okay, that's impressive.
I heard one of the strength coaches say one day, if I was Hinckley, I would never wear a shirt.
That's true. That is true.
They said I would never wear a shirt if I was Hinckley.
Hinckley, you have to know that last week when we were promoting that you were coming on, I was like, I want Hinckley to come without a shirt on, just to, you know, so people can see, because you're not supposed to be that height and that weight and have a 12-pack, right?
We might have
I need
got a
some of those
boost in
muscles.
our YouTube numbers, but I'm glad you wore a shirt.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
did the right
It's
thing.
good. So, but you know what? We hear about how this guy works all the time, but we also hear how you work all the time. Like that when you show up, and Hinckley just said it again, and I've heard this over and over again. When Keelan shows up, it's on. Like,
Yes, sir.
we're going to work. Where do you get that mentality? Where does that come from?
I always ask myself that. I never figure out where I got it from. You know, just me down south playing some football at a powerhouse high school, Grayson High School. And, you know, I was coming from a school where, you know, I didn't have no offers, and I was going to a team full of, you know, 40 guys in the class of 2019 with Power 5 offers. And so when I got there, I always felt I had a point to prove because I didn't have what they have. Like, you know, guys having Alabama, Michigan, LSU. That's everyone's dream. So when I got to Grayson, like, it was just like my foot was on the gas every day I came because those guys bringing out, you know what I'm saying, Nick Saban, Kirby, they bringing out all those guys to practice. So it's just giving me a foot in the door to showcase what I can do.
Cody Epps was here with us a few weeks ago, just before his golf tournament, and that got us thinking.
Yeah,
If you and Cody were both running for president and had to debate each other, who would win?
Me.
You would beat Cody?
I definitely beat him because one thing about Cody, he know me that, like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to get my point across. Yeah. I'm going to get my point across no matter, like, what it's about. Football, it don't even have to be football related. I'm going to get that point across.
It's all right. So you'd take that presidential debate.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
We think about this receiver room, and Dave already mentioned it's one of the most talented, deep receiver rooms we can remember. And Dave and I have been doing this and covering BYU for almost 35 years. And
Long before you guys were born.
Before you guys were born, and we look at this group and we're going, man. But not only is it a talented group with speed and size and all those things, it's a room full of personalities. So we're thinking about Chase Robertson there, Darius, who's been on the show with us. Chase has been on the show. Parker Kingston, who says he's the fastest guy on the team. Keanu, who's tight end now, but also part of that receiving
we
corps.
still showing love.
Yeah.
And Cody and you, there's some new guys that have come in. I just saw Heaton out running around the other night. How much fun are you guys having in that room?
Yeah, I think some of the guys say it's like the best fun they ever had. You know, with me and Darius, you know, and the younger guys getting added to the room, like, they say it's just a lot of laughs going on, a lot of like positivity and everything. You know, everyone's in there to compete. We all want to push each other. Everyone wants to start. You know, everyone wants the ball. So I feel like we all tell each other there's always enough room for everyone to eat. We just all got to do our part.
What did this group learn from last year? First year in the Big 12, first year against those kind of defenses every Saturday. What did the room look? How is the room better because you went through last year?
I feel like the room got better by us understanding that we need to when we come to show up, we need to be ready. We need to be ready. Like no matter who goes in, JoJo, it could be Cody Hagan. You know what I'm saying? You never know what can go on. Like I feel like we understood that we need to show up and be ready no matter what. No matter who goes down, Darius goes down, next guy need to be up. Chase goes down, next guy need to be up. Cody goes down. Same thing with everyone. Like everyone needs to be ready.
You know, Hinckley mentioned that, like, on the offensive line, light bulbs were going on and people were understanding the offense better. Darius sat here and he was saying, you know, he said, I recognized that there were parts of the offense that I didn't know as well as I wish I knew them last year. And we had 7 new first-year guys on that offense last year, including a number of you guys in the receiver room.
Yes, sir.
How much does this extra year of understanding the offense help you guys as you go out to execute this fall?
It actually helps a lot. You know, with the player run practices, you know, we've been pretty crisp. I can't lie, we've been pretty crisp. You know, we had to help some young guys. You know, of course they're new. You know, like Taylor Cool. You know, all this is new to those guys. So the older guys, to walk them in the huddle, walk them through the routes, all that stuff. So I feel like everyone just been, you know, we just been pretty sharp in PRPs. Like it's been a lot of focus getting put into it. A lot of focus. Worked all spring to put the run game together, and now this fall we're gonna all put it together and have a show.
BYU receiver Keelan Marion on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, a junior from Atlanta, Georgia, caught 20 passes last season, rushed for 3 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
So 19 kickoff returns. This year you're going to catch some touchdowns for
definitely.
receiver. I mean, you're leading the running backs room in touchdowns,
Definitely.
but I know you'd rather catch them. So what are the expectations for you in this second year in Aaron Roderick's offense?
My expectations for me, you know, it's nothing new for me. It's just, you know what I'm saying, if the ball come my way, I know what to do with it. I know what I can do with it. I know what I'm going to do with it. So it's nothing new for me. It's the same old expectation from last year. It come my way, we taking it to the house.
So if A-Rod came to you and he said, okay, Keelan, I'm going to let you've done such great work this offseason. You picked the first 3 plays of the Southern Illinois game. What do you want him to call? What are the best 3 plays? What do you want him to call to open up that opener?
We need to go deep.
You going deep on first
we
down?
Going deep. Take a shot, baby.
Okay. All right.
So
So
that first play is go deep. Let's say we score on the first 65-yard touchdown to Keelan on the first play. Now we line up second series. We've only had 1 play. We already got 1 on the board. What's play 2?
We can hand it off to Hink.
You hand it off to Hank for a play 2, just to establish the run.
We can hand it off to
Then
Hink.
Hinckley goes like 17 yards for a first down. What are we doing on play 3?
We're going to throw it again.
Throw it again. Okay.
We're going to throw it again.
I like it.
do you think about it? Do you guys sit in the receiver room and think about plays that should be called? Give Aaron some suggestions of, hey, here's the 20 things I think will work tonight.
Yeah, we had those moments sometimes like, oh, coach, we think we should have threw the post, you know what I'm saying? We should throw the double move, you know, the short game, quick game, all the stuff. We always had those talks with Coach A-Rod himself too, though. He'll ask us what we think or what we see out there, and we just come back and relay the message to him on the sideline. And next series, that's how the plays come flowing.
Yeah.
Every game, that's how the plays come flowing. He come back and ask us Coach Facey asks us what we see. He relayed the message to A-Rod, and then the play call come from there.
So Hinckley, and you can, because Hinckley's over here, you can let me know if this is true. Like, so I played quarterback here in this system, same offense actually, because
Yes, sir.
A-Rod runs the same offense that he ran, which is the same offense I ran back in the olden days. I played with 2 NFL wide receivers of our group and All-American tight end. They always came back to the huddle and said they were open on every play. Like, I'm open, like I'm wide open. This guy can't cover me. And then we go watch film. I'm like, dude, you were not open every play. Why do you keep telling me that? And I'm not going to believe you anymore. Do you tell the quarterback you're open every play?
Yeah, we does have those. We have those moments sometimes. I ain't gonna say 24/7, but we have those moments sometimes because we feel like we always open.
Yeah. Just throw me the ball.
God
Right?
can be right there on that hip. We open.
You hear that stuff in the huddle, Hinckley, or they all come back? I'm wide open, man.
All the
You know,
time.
sometimes you might lead a huddle. You might lead a huddle like Jake.
I got this.
So
This
now-
guy can't cover me.
You've been catching passes from Jake and Gary Bohannon this summer.
Yes, sir.
What's different about them, and what are the similarities as they go into camp later this month, battling for the starting jump?
I'm gonna start out with the similarities for
Okay.
those guys.
Yeah.
Those two, the speed they and the ball placement that they have is like ridiculous. You know,
Right.
Gary coming off the shoulder injury, so he's been just rehabbing, getting it back stronger. And from when he got here, you can tell to today that the arm is way stronger.
Yeah.
They were way stronger. You know, Jake is continuing to being that guy. He always been, you know, loud, leader, gonna be vocal, everything. So when Jake throws the ball, you know, sometimes we'll be in routes on air like Jake, take something off. He firing up those hands on the hitch route. But like, you know, with Gary, it's the same thing. You know, they both have a strong arm, great deep ball accuracy, everything. I think it's gonna be a great battle.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
a great battle.
And there's a couple of young guys in the room. I got invited to go watch John Beck work with the 4.
Okay.
So with Gary and also with Jake, but also 2 young and McKay and Bourget, and they can all throw it.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
they're,
Don't
these
let
guys
McKay
can-
underestimate you with the
boy,
size.
I saw him. I'm like, no way is this little dude throwing the ball that hard. So you have 4 quarterbacks that can really, really spin it. Do you see these young guys having a role, or are they going to just learn and wait and learn?
You know, I definitely think the battles between, you know, the 2 older guys, Jake and Gary, and, you know, those young guys, they can throw it too. I wouldn't put it past those guys. Like McKay, the size might look crazy, but McKay can rip it.
Yeah.
In a race with Hinckley and let's throw you in there. Let's throw Kingston in there. Now let's throw Bohannon in there. How does Gary hold up? We had heard through spring that he's about as fast as any of the guys in the backfield.
Those Bohannon had some wheels to be that big.
Yeah.
You know, what Gary's about 6'3", 2 something?
235, I think is
he
what he
was
was.
saying 230-ish.
Yeah, and look like a running back out there once he take off with the scramble. Once he scramble, he takes off. But I think we're gonna leave Gary on the back end. I think we're gonna leave Gary on the back
You
end.
guys
on
are
that
going to
one.
leave him.
Let the other guys do that.
Parker always get me on that first step.
We talk about
Is that right?
Yeah.
who's the fastest, right? And you guys can all get out and run, like in 100 meters or even 40 yards. Who's the quickest guy on the team? Can we put Hinckley in that? Is he one of the quicker guys? Like, be able to change directions quick?
I say he probably like one of the most explosive guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick, twitchy guy.
Yeah, who's a quick, like, can just all of a sudden change direction and go fast that way, too?
Jacob Robinson.
Oh,
Jacob
that's
Robinson.
a good point.
We were
Jacob
running
has
shuttles
got-
the other day
yeah.
before we went on break. We were running shuttles, the skill group, and I touched the line like I took off and seen myself in the front. So I'm thinking I'm good. So I go back, touch left foot, go back, touch right foot, and Jacob is just like he's gone. I'm like, I go in the locker room. I said, Darius, like Jacob was moving today on the shoulders, and every day we run shoulders. Like Jacob I got to give it to him. He been killing us.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
he's like, we had Jay Hill on the alumni game with us up in the booth, and he said Jacob Robinson's his skills, like his footwork, his ability to change direction, his ball skills are as good as anybody's coached. Jay's coached a bunch of NFL guys,
Oh, I heard.
so that's pretty cool. Like, and I forgot about. Yeah, we got to give him some credit. He's great quickness, right?
Yeah, I give Jacob a ton of respect. You know,
Yeah.
just by being his size. You know, everybody gonna always want to teams gonna want to put their best guy over there and try him
Yeah.
just because he's small. And I can say last season, he held his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He held his own. You know, about 5'9", 5'10" corner.
Yeah.
Going against Kansas receivers 6'4", 6'5", and
Right.
them big old TCU raw receivers. Like Jacob held his own.
He's
Yeah,
going to be
great point.
He's going to be guarding you here later this month.
Yes, sir.
Camp starts on August 30th. BYU receiver Keelan Marion is here on the Wise Guys tonight. How eager are you to get fall camp going? And the game is next month, at the end of next month, but camp comes first.
I'm ready for camp because I miss spring ball due to a growing problem.
Yeah.
Had a big growing tweak, but I'm back healthy. So this fall camp, I'm ready. It feel like I ain't caught a ball in so long, so I'm just so anxious to get back out there with the guys. Compete, go at it. Like even though I wasn't out there this spring, the way I was talking, you would think I was out there. You would think I was out there the way I was talking for the offense.
Well, what do you enjoy the most when it comes to all this pregame festivities at Lavelle Edwards Stadium? There's the Cougar Walk, which we cover on BYU TV. There's the warm-ups, which we cover as well. And then there's the Rock, and then there's the fireworks that go on
Man, so
overhead as you
much.
take the field. Where's your head in all this? What's your favorite moment?
It's so much that I told my mom sometimes you have to just block all that stuff out because during the game in Lavelle, it don't even feel real. it don't feel real. Like the field be shaking. I don't know if you guys know that. The field feel like it's moving. The field feel like it's moving. But I love Cougar Walk too. I love Cougar Walk because you pull up. You got the whole the whole fan base out there. Then once you walk through the gate, you have the Rock just sitting there, the jumbotron. Like that's one of my favorite moments here.
It's one of the loudest stadiums in the country. Period.
Oh, I have guys from UConn. My old teammates call and tell me like, when I first got here last year and they watched us play Cincinnati, because I had a former UConn teammate that transferred there. Yeah. They called me they after the game. It's like, dude, like you should see like the TV. He's like the stadium is legit. Yeah, the screen just shaking. He's like, they told me, I was like, yeah,
it's something special. When when your buddy Tyler Algier made one of the best plays I've ever seen in football. Remember when he ran and punched the ball out? You've seen that one, Keelan against Arizona State. I was down on the field next to one of our colleagues, Dave Nixon. And we started talking to each other. We were face to face like this, screaming at each other, and we couldn't hear each other. Couldn't hear a word.
I had always seen that play before I transferred here, but never knew it was BYU.
Yeah,
really?
I never knew it was BYU.
That is one of the most amazing. That so many lessons from that play. You don't give up.
Never.
You play to the end of the play. Throw a pick. He chases him down. He punches the ball. It's like one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. Period.
Great
on either side of the ball, and he's a guy like you two. He just works like crazy. Yeah, no, Hinckley was working out with him today. So
Vegas has 4.5 wins, 5 wins for this football team. What are they missing? What are they missing that the projections are so low coming into the fall? And does it bug you guys?
They can keep them that low. We're gonna prove them wrong. They can keep putting them like that. We're gonna prove them wrong. I hear we're gonna supposed to win over 3-4 games.
Yeah, 4.5 is what Vegas is saying.
Yeah, they gonna see.
Yeah,
they gonna see.
Does that put a chip on your shoulders? Do you guys
definitely? Yeah, because everybody, they say we lost a lot of pieces, which we lost some pieces, but I think all the pieces still here too.
Yeah,
I think all the pieces still here. We coming. I'm not talking about Coach Prime either. We coming though.
Yeah, I wished August 31st was.
Yeah, I know.
Was Saturday. Those are
no. These guys are both healthy. They want to have a fall camp. This is right. Yeah,
I'm feeling like
ready to
we can line it up. We can line it up Saturday.
When we told TJ, coach, offensive line coach, we're ready to go. He goes, we're not ready to go yet. He goes, we still got a lot to do to clean up. He goes, we're going to be good, but we got a lot to clean up. So coach isn't ready to play tomorrow. Dave and I are ready for you guys to play tomorrow.
Yeah, we are ready. Coach not ready.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's talk about the Royal Blue Collective. How has that impacted your experience here at BYU?
It impacted my experience here a lot. I can tell you a lot that they don't have. They teach us investment, how to invest your money, how to manage your money. They teach us about taxes and stuff like that. It's like, any other program, like I'm not trying to down my old school, but like I was at UConn and like the resources that we have here, that was never even thought of there at UConn.
Really?
So when I come here, it's like all this stuff is just like so new, and it still shocks me to this day.
It's not just the money. It's all of these things to help you learn and be better for the rest of your life, right?
Right. Because the connections here are like beyond. Like I tell my mom and dad all the time, like he just telling me like Andy Reid was here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Andy was just on our show 2 weeks ago.
It's just like the connection and networking here is just unbelievable. Like you meet so many great people and like the love is genuine.
Yeah,
the love is genuine. So I big shout out to the Royal Blue Collective.
It feels like he's ready for 5 questions.
I feel like he's ready for 5 questions. So
let's find out about Keelan.
But he kind of cheated because he listened to Hinckley, so some of these are the same.
But I was thinking too hard.
So now he look great.
Okay.
Your favorite sports movie?
He Got Game.
He Got Game.
We've had that one a couple of times.
He Got Game. I like that one. That one.
That's a good one. Your favorite singer or band? Or performing artist of any kind?
I've been on my country wave a little bit.
That's all right.
So he's an Atlanta kid. Like
I gotta go Luke Combs. The guys been putting me on some Luke Combs.
All right.
I can't tell you nothing word for word, but I can bob my head to it if I like it.
I'm thinking he was going to be like, "Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play, and we ride on things most every day. Big beats hit streets, gangsters roaming." And party don't stop till 8 in the morning. I thought he might go with that one. Yo, right? No, he did go with that.
He went with Luke Combs. They ain't my favorite though, but that's something different for me.
My Atlanta guy goes with Luke Combs instead of that. So it's all right though.
We're big Keith Urban fans.
I respect it.
There's some great country artists.
Yeah, awesome. I've been learning.
Yeah, good.
No, all right. I respect Luke Combs. That's a good one. I would have been okay with the other one though. Okay. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
I'm gonna go with Frosted Rice Krispies.
Wait, there's frosted Rice Krispies?
You know they have a plain, and they have a frosted.
Frosted Rice Krispies.
Yes, sir.
Well, because my grandmother used to have Rice Krispies, and I was like, get the sugar bowl out. Because I put
They
like
have a
5
frosted.
teaspoons of sugar on that thing. Because
Snap,
it's like,
crackle, and pop, and apply sugar.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
but-
eat. I'm not gonna eat this cardboard without sugar on it.
I think I've heard of that. Frosted Rice
Frosted
Krispies.
Rice
Because I heard Hinckley say Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm the berries guy.
You
Oh,
just
your
like
berries.
the plain berries.
I like the Captain Crunch with the berries.
With the berries, yeah.
With the berries. That's what.
Yeah, no, that's what. Now we're
The
talking.
plain ones are cool without the berries, but I'm gonna go
Okay.
berries.
All right.
So, Rice Krispie. You've had Rice Krispie treats before, where they melt the marshmallows and bring the Rice Krispies together. Like,
Yes, sir.
have you done the ones where they take Fruity Pebbles and they do the same thing,
Yeah.
like Fruity Pebbles Rice Krispie treats?
I
That's
had a Fruity
next
Pebble
level.
Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah. That's next level.
That's now we're talking like it's up here. So, okay, your favorite sports moment?
Had to say my first game that my mom came to watch when I was at UConn
Yeah.
against Vanderbilt. It was my first 100-yard game too in college football as a freshman.
Yeah.
So UConn, we were losing, so it felt great. That was my mom, dad first game actually come to see me play. Came up to Nashville, watched me play,
Yeah.
and I just ended up having like four catches for 100, and it was like 105 yards or something like that in the touchdown. And like we got snubbed out of the dub though, but it just felt great. My mom, she haven't seen me play. Like I had some living conditions back when I was younger, so my mom, they never used to see me play a lot for real. But once I got to college, like at UConn, she had dad and her found a way to get up there to Nashville. It just felt great. Like I know we had lost and all, but like it felt great. Like just do that in front of my mom. Like she was crying, seeing the smile on her face.
That's awesome.
That's the best.
It was my little brother first game too. He looks up to me a lot, so
Yeah.
it felt great.
Yeah.
So,
That's
so
good.
this fall,
That's great.
The nice part is that you're on TV every week, so
Yes, sir.
they can see you on TV. But are there some games that they're going to be able to be there at this year?
Oh yes, sir. They come to majority of the home games, and they also go to the games that are like more closer to home. So I know they're going to be at UCF this year for sure.
Fun.
Yeah.
They're
That's
going to
awesome.
be at UCF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have another 100-yard game against UCF.
Yeah, do that. That would
Then
be
they'll say
good.
every time we can watch
Hey,
you
know
play, you
what?
have 100 yards.
Have a
Okay.
100-yard game at any time you want, and you too, Hinckley.
Okay, anytime I want.
Anytime you got,
That's what we're gonna
I feel
do.
like you do it.
You know, but before we go to this other one, there's something about, and we're parent. Blaine and I have kids, and we have grandkids. There's something about, we're proud of our kids, but there's something about the other way for when my parents were proud of me, and you'd feel that when it's the other perspective of I'm doing this and I know my parents are proud of me. What are those feelings like for you when that happens?
Sometimes it's a lot of pressure because, my mom does have 5 boys. I'm the first one to graduate high school and get here.
Yeah.
By me being the second youngest, I have actually 14-year-old rising freshman. So the pressure be a lot because, I also have to show the little brother the footsteps of the way. Because he's at home by himself, everyone's grown, so it's like he's just getting it at home on his own unless my dad comes by there and get him. But I try to keep in touch with him a lot, though. But, like, it holds a lot of weight on me because, like, I'm the first one to make it this far.
And you want him to
So
do it. You
sometimes
want
I
him to
get
do
his
it too,
courage.
right?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's gonna be better.
Really?
I ain't gonna say I think so. He's gonna be better because the speed that the guys here think I'm blazing fast. The little one's rolling.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna send you
It
this.
sounds like you want him to be better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like we might go train, and some people might think I'm being too hard on him, but it's like I know what I want for him because I know what I had to do to get here, and I know, he wants the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Georgia, all those type of offers. So I know what he need to get. I know what he need to do to get there and to get those offers.
Well, we're going to send you this interview tomorrow morning. You can send it to him,
Yes, sir.
and he can listen to you.
I got you.
That'd be
For
great.
sure. Our last question is, what's your favorite thing about BYU?
That's a hard question. My favorite thing about BYU is I love that my team welcomes anyone, no matter where they're from, how they were raised, or where they come from. Because you have some people who are not member of the church and some people who are.
Right.
So I was always getting that message of like, man, Keelan, you're not going to fit in. And me being from Atlanta, people like, you're not going to fit in there. You can't do what you want to do there. Like I think I've been fitting in just fine. Like they welcome my first week here, it felt like I knew a bunch of these guys for no telling how long. Like it's just like the welcoming that they have. Like even to like Cody Haig and all those young guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm 1,000% sure that those guys feel very welcoming. You know, we crack some jokes with them. Like I think, like I tell you, the love is in Utah is really genuine.
That's good to
And
hear.
that got my attention here when I first got here. Like when I was walking through locker room and visit, like guys just like, "What up, Keelan?" Like dang, like.
You know what? Darius said something interesting, and it applies to you too. Is last year he said he was out there trying to figure out the playbook and where he should be and all that in these home games. But now this year he's going out having owned the playbook, and I feel like same confidence with you. Of first year is over, and now it's.
Yeah, I used to have some. Mess ups out there. I know. I'm pretty sure some fans have seen it. I was one of those guys too. They might mess up a play.
Well, everyone that's new goes through that.
Yeah.
But
Like the legal touching penalties and stuff.
The fans
Like
don't know. The fans see when the quarterback messes up, but they don't know when anybody else messes up.
yeah, nah. The
Unless you
fans
put
was
the ball
on
on
me
the ground
about
or
those.
drop it, right?
The fans was on me about those illegal touching penalties. Like I was covering up Isaac one play and we got like a first down. I think.
Yeah.
And they was just like, dude, like lock in, Keelan. Like.
Do you feel ready to just kind of be unleashed now that you know the playbook?
Oh yeah, I fly around easily now.
Yeah, and that frees you up to.
It shocked myself. Like, man, Keelan, you picked it up a little quick, huh?
That's good stuff.
That is awesome.
It's good
Like
stuff.
the player run practices, and the means beyond, when we have to meet, like the means that nobody sees, like that was the time that we actually get help.
And you mentioned that now you're a veteran player. Hinckley's got that same role. He's a veteran player. Now these new young guys coming. You mentioned Cody. You getting back from a mission. He's in. Now that you're teaching the offense, does that even help you to understand it more yourself when you have to teach these young guys this offense? How's that helped you?
It helped me a lot because sometimes we could be signaling plays and those guys might single a protection, and a young guy like Cody or Tay or Dom might come ask me like what that mean. I'd be like, it might be 60 protection, might be a 5-man protection, So I kind of noticed like I was picking up the protection, like they might signal a play like protection. I might tell you receivers you don't got to worry about protection. Guys, you just get the formation, the motion signals, and the play call. But knowing the protection also lets you know how fast the release you got to do, or how much tempo you can add to your route, any moves. I could be backside on a 6-man protection and get add a little sauce to the dig route. Just like little things like that, it helps you take the game a long way.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when he knows the protection, he knows if they're keeping 6 guys in, he's got a little extra time. He adds some sauce to the backside dig, meaning make a couple extra moves. So that when he runs that dig, because the quarterback's going to come back to him late, he's going to be wide open.
Yes, sir.
And I would throw it to you.
Add some sauce to the back.
To the backside dig.
Backside dig.
Yeah, so he's going to add
That's
some
awesome.
sauce to the backside dig if he knows he's got 6-man protection.
Yes, sir.
Just remember that, guys. That's what I want everybody to look for that this fall.
Look for it.
Get a little max protection. Keelan's going to add some sauce to the backside dig.
It's great to have you here. We're
Thank you,
looking forward to practice and the season. We're gonna have a good time.
It's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun time.
BYU's better because you're here.
Yeah.
Go Cougs. Thank you, guys.
You got it. Well, let's go back to the green room and rejoin Hinckley, and then we'll hook back up for a few minutes
Yeah,
for
we'll
some
do a little thing
Cougar Board
after the
things
show
we're gonna
for
do.
you. So.
All right, Keelan Marion
Thanks,
here
Keelan.
in the Wise Guys. Are you ready to model our defense drink?
Oh, of course. I haven't even had a drink of it yet.
Here comes the
I'm gonna make it.
shot.
I'm gonna make it. While
Defense Drinks is a drink that does more in addition to hydration or pre-workout. It strengthens your joints, reduces soreness, and is sweetened with allulose so it won't spike your blood sugar or disturb your insulin levels. Save 10% on your order at defensedrinks.com using the promo code WISEGUYS. And there it is right there. There's the promo code.
I'm getting a little collagen right now, folks. So
Let me ask you the Cougar Board question of the week. If you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans with thousands of posts daily. This question comes from Seth J250, one of their insider subscribers. Blaine, what impact have the new offensive coaches, TJ Woods and Kevin Gilbride, who've both been on this show, had on recruiting and day-to-day operations?
just a minute, I'm drinking my defense drink. So
The commercial plug is over.
I
and
know,
we've
but
moved on.
you reminded me that I didn't get my collagen today, so I'm just having a little collagen. But
All right, do you want the question again?
So, yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
so this is, and we've had both TJ and Kevin on the show.
Yeah.
And so in day-to-day operations, remember, this is going to take a lot of pressure off of A-Rod because he's really relying on these guys who are very experienced in coordinating a run game. And so they have looked at every aspect of the run game and how to block better, how to make it more simple for the offensive linemen. They moved some people around on that offensive line. And then also remember that we had Connor Pay in on the show, and Connor just said he feels like this offensive line, with the teaching method that TJ uses, that they're so much further ahead on understanding who they're supposed to block, how they're supposed to do it, what technique they're supposed to use, that he thinks that the run game will take a monster step forward this year. So day to day, they're just really dialed in on making this run game. And then Hinckley told us that TJ invited all of the tight ends and running backs into a meeting to be able to make sure everybody knew what the offensive line was doing and how the run tracks, meaning the track that Hinckley takes when he's running the ball, impacts the way they block. And so they're really drilling down. They spend a lot of time in spring ball in the run game, and Kevin Gilbride is a big part of that as well. And also developing the passing game with some really talented tight ends. So I think the big impact is on this run game.
There you go. That's the Cougar Board question of the week. Hey, next week, Dave Rice is going to join us, the new head basketball coach of Salt Lake Community College. Of course, he was an assistant here during Jimmermania.
Yes.
Kelly Smith, the two-time, the national champion, the guy who caught the winning touchdown, and two-time World Series champion Dane Org. That's on next week's show.
It's not too shabby.
Here on the Wise Guys. Yeah. Earlier, we mentioned BYU's home Big 12 schedule, and we also told you that we would announce the women's schedule for home games, and a number of the players have been here on the show, and more to come. But in the Big 12, BYU will play Utah, Arizona, Arizona State, UCF, Colorado, Houston, Kansas, Kansas State, and Oklahoma, all at the Marriott Center. And as we've documented with Amber Whiting's roster, I think there's 9 new players.
Yeah.
And a lot of firepower.
It's a young team with crazy talent. We were teasing Amber about it. We're like, everybody can shoot on this team. We'd say, what's the scouting report? And she would say, man, and she can really shoot it. So it's a team with great athletes that can really shoot it, but they're going to be young. That's going to be fun to watch with that schedule.
It's going to be good. Women's volleyball, since we were last together, announced some of their schedule. The season opener, St. Louis at BYU. That's August 30th at the Smith Fieldhouse. And then they've got some notable games. Georgia Tech, who was in the Sweet 16 last year, they're in Provo on September 7th. BYU's going to go to San Diego.
Yeah, old WCC matchup
They're
at
always
San
good
Diego,
in volleyball.
September 12th. And then at Oregon, a neutral site game on September 13th. So not at Oregon, but they play Oregon, neutral site on September 13th.
And a shout-out from the Wise Guys to Heather Olmstead, who coached USA Volleyball to the NORCECA Women's Under-21 Continental Championship in Toronto over the weekend. Her and her brother are coming on the show in a few weeks.
For that.
And that's going to be something. A shout-out, former BYU assistant baseball coach Brent Herring, the new head coach at Nichols. Herring here with Mike Littlewood, and for the first 2 seasons with Trent Pratt, we congratulate him. He's an awesome guy, and now he's the head man with the Colonels, and I hope they win all their games.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's so fun. And people don't know there's a little bit of a tie to Nichols. So Charlie Stubbs, who was an offensive graduate assistant here with Mike Holmgren and Andy Reid and those guys and worked, he was the head football coach at Nichols and the athletic director for years back there. BYU guy, former BYU guy. And so there's a little tie to Nichols. And now Brent's going to go and extend that tie between Nichols. So root for Nichols, guys.
Hey, the Directors' Cup final standings are out in all sports. Texas is number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. But BYU's number 36 in the country.
Right.
Utah's number 47, and Utah State's number 136. So when it comes to the Beehive State, and for all but 35 of the Division I programs, BYU's better than all of them.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It really is impressive. People were asking, what does BYU bring to the Big 12? And the Big 12 was inviting him. And it's like, they're always
bring
top
teams.
They're always top 40 in the country, and they've been top 20 multiple times in the last 10 years. So there you go. Their overall sports program is fantastic.
And Michael, we got that Olmstead note on the show. Thanks for the reminder. Zach Wilson, by the way, announced his engagement over the weekend to Nicolette Delano. We send our congrats. Zach's going to try to win the starting job with the Broncos when Denver's veterans report on July 23rd in 22 days.
I love Zach's opportunity there.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got a coaching staff that knows how to develop young quarterbacks, and they love his skill set. I think things are going to go good for him in Denver. Let's hope
so.
I hope so.
I like his coach. His coach likes quarterbacks.
Yes, he does. And he's developed guys his size with his kind of arm.
Wise Guys has become the title sponsor for the Ephraim Hope Charity Golf Tournament. coming up on Tuesday, August 6th at Cedar Hills Golf Club here in Utah County. Gary Heaton is the co-founder of the Ephraim Hope Mission charity that's bringing education opportunities to underprivileged children in Uganda. A pleasure to welcome Gary to the Wise Guys here for a couple of minutes to talk about Ephraim Hope Mission. What exactly does it do?
Well, first of all,
it's great to have you here, by the way.
thank you, Dave and Blaine. I just really appreciate it. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you being the title sponsor for our tournament.
Hey, we're
and for
excited
our
because
kids.
it's an awesome cause.
Yes, exactly.
So we basically pay school fees for children in Uganda. Most of them are orphans living with grandma. And how we got started is a friend of mine, Jackson Isiko from Sandy. He's got his doctorate degree. About 2.5 years ago, he came to me and said, Gary, there are so many kids in my village that aren't going to school. We need to figure out a way to get them in school. So we just started researching, and one thing led to another, and we're paying their school fees and uniforms, and these kids would not be going to school otherwise.
How many children are you helping at any one time? And how many have you helped over the period of the time that the charity's been in place?
So we started out with 30, and then we built it up to 50. Now we're currently sending 80 children to school.
Oh, wow.
I was there in November and met these kids, went to all of their homes, and it changed my life. And what I learned is every one of these kids have siblings that aren't going to school. That kind of shocked me. I didn't know that. And then the other thing we learned is we have village leaders from other villages coming to us and saying, can you help send our village kids to school? It's a very poor country, and a lot of kids are just hanging around doing whatever, and they're not going to school. We're making a big difference in their lives. And
How have you seen education change the dynamics of a future for all these kids?
well, what I envision, and I mean, it's just getting started because we've only been helping them for a couple of years, but the biggest thing I saw is the light in their eyes and the idea that they can really learn and they're excited. And what I envision is we just got 4 kids in high school now. Most of them are grade school, and we're going to get these kids through college, and they're going to go back to their villages and make a huge difference in the future.
That's great.
Yeah, education is a big deal. You know, Keelan Marion was just on and talked about he's the first in his family. Now he's gone from high school. He's here, going to get a college degree, and playing at this level. His little brother's going to follow his footsteps, and that's a game changer for kids. These kids don't even get a chance to go to school, period.
Right.
Unless they have help, right?
That's exactly right, and that's what you're helping to do here.
So in addition to attending the golf tournament, by the way, the link is in the chat. And for those listening on the podcast, it's www.ephraimhope.org/golf tournament. That's the link where you can register. But in addition to playing golf and generating some money that way, what are the ways our audience can make a difference?
We're looking for hole sponsors. It's $500 to sponsor a hole. And if you have a business, come and do that. That'll help send 7 kids to school. And so it goes a long ways. And then the other thing we're looking for is our donations for the charity auction and for the raffle. And anything below $200 we're going to raffle off. We just got Little Giant Ladder to donate one for the raffle and for the we've got a bunch of great donations.
Right.
I shouldn't just single them out, but we're looking for sports memorabilia, hotels, Airbnbs, whatever, anything that people might spend money on in an auction. That's what we're looking for.
Fantastic. And August 6th, there's a golf tournament. We'll be out there in the morning to send everybody out. And I know you're a big BYU fan. We got a couple of football players here. We had Olympians here earlier tonight. How would you describe this program heading into a second year in the Big 12 across the board? Football, soccer, volleyball, you name it.
Well, I'm just really excited. I used to have season tickets years ago, and now I'm going to be coming back again on a regular basis.
Awesome.
It's fun for me I just started attending again last year. I had a kind of a break, but I'm excited because of what I'm seeing and watching, and these guys, they have so much, they're just good guys and good men, and they're out to really make a big difference.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we're really lucky because we get to be close to the athletes, and one of the reasons we started this show a couple years ago was we wanted to show the world who these players are. You know, they get 4-minute segment, or they see them on the field, and they don't understand that they all have these tremendous stories, and that they're high character, great human beings, and so we get to do that on the show. We get to highlight them. We had 4 of them on tonight, 2 Olympians from our track team that are heading to Paris to compete, and then two great players from our football team. Yeah, Dave and I are spoiled. We get to spend time with these folks and see what great representatives they are of the university and what great people they are.
Now that you've met these two, you can stand up and shout, get Ropati the football, or
There you
Marion's
go.
open every single
Absolutely.
play.
Go, come on, A-Rod. Keelan wants to go deep on play one.
Now
What
you're
are
on
you
the
doing?
inside with these guys.
It's going to be fun.
And you're on the inside with us. So we're
Thank you
happy
so
to be
much. We really
a
appreciate
partner
it.
with you. Thank you. It's good to have you here. Gary Heaton, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Appreciate you on that. Again, August 6th, golf tournament, www.ephraimhope.org/golf tournament. And if you're looking at the live stream, it's right there. You can just hit the link, and we'll see you on the links if you hit the link.
There you go.
And bring your money and good intentions.
Yeah, and come have fun.
They're
We'll be
really
out there.
changing lives down there. All right, we head down the home stretch on this day, July 1st, this brand new month.
This first one is so important.
And I don't know how you verify this, but
Yeah.
but
But does it really matter?
it's there and it's interesting.
Yeah, so July 1st, in the year 1200, sunglasses were invented in China.
Now let's move forward to.
I think most sunglasses still are made in China.
I think they are. They've been making them for a long, long time. Move forward to 1776 on this day, the first vote on the Declaration of Independence for the colonies.
Yeah, so they had the first vote, then it was finalized on the 4th? Is
And
that
then
what happened?
everything signed it up and got
There
it
you
going.
go. 1847, the first postage stamp was produced, and it cost 5 cents.
5 cents.
5 cents.
Back then,
1847.
5 cents was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what are we paying now? 55 cents?
Yeah.
Is that what a stamp is?
I don't know. I don't
It's
even know.
outrageous.
I don't know.
1863, the Battle of Gettysburg begins.
Wow.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. 1874, the first U.S. zoo opened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
How about 1903, the first Tour de France held in Paris?
Wow. And now the Olympics
They've been
are
running
there.
that thing.
Yeah, they've been doing that. 1904, the Olympic Games opened in St. Louis.
What
The-
was St. Louis doing?
Well, I don't know why they got it, but gateway to the West, they have the arch. I don't know, but it's
guess.
the first Olympics in the United States.
St.
So
Louis.
1904, the St. Louis Olympics.
1953 on this day, KLAS TV in Las Vegas started broadcasting. I gave them 20 years of my life from
That's
1992 to 2012. They're the CBS affiliate in Las Vegas, and they're awesome.
Yeah, and Dave lived down there, and he got us a gig with UNLV, and we did stuff together. And you knew all the good steakhouses in Vegas, but I feel like you're a little rusty now.
Yeah, there's
I think he's a little
there are
rusty.
stadiums down there that exist now that didn't
weren't there
exist
when
when
you
I
were
was
there.
there.
How about in 1967, the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band hits #1 in the United States.
That's an awesome,
67.
awesome album. 1982, Cal Ripken makes the first of his record 2,216 consecutive starts at shortstop for Baltimore.
Remarkable. 2018, LeBron James leaves the Cavs for the Lakers on a 4-year, $154 million deal.
Cavs were so bummed when that happened.
Yeah.
How about on this day in 2024, Texas and Oklahoma officially leave the Big 12 and join the SEC, while Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah exit the collapsed Pac-12 and join the Big 12. On this day, right now.
Wow. It's official.
It is official.
It's crazy. Let's go to some July 1st birthdays.
Okay.
I like this first one. 1952, Dan Aykroyd of Ghostbusters fame in Saturday Night Live.
Was that not his best film, Ghostbusters?
Oh, yeah.
Feels like
Yeah.
it. Carl Lewis, born on this day in 1961, he won 9 gold medals.
Greatest, maybe the greatest sprinter in history. I don't know. Usain Bolt would say he is good, but Carl Lewis was something special.
Yeah. Usain had social media.
1961, Diana Spencer, her birthday, July 1st.
Who was Diana Spencer?
Princess Diana. And remember,
Yeah.
Libby played Princess Diana
That's
in
right.
Diana the Musical on Broadway, our daughter Libby.
Born on this day, 1961. Some notable deaths on July 1st, 1860, Charles Goodyear.
Yep.
Goodyear tires.
Yeah, like no doubt who that is, right?
And the blimp, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
1896, Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin, literary classic.
Speaking of cabins, 1991, Michael Landon, Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, how about that?
And Bonanza.
And remember that Michael Landon in college was a national level javelin thrower.
Is that right?
Yeah. So 2004, Marlon Brando passed away, the Godfather.
The Godfather. Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week comes from Thomas Jefferson.
Of course it does. It's
From the
4th
Declaration
July
of
this week,
Independence.
right? Here we go. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, but among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
There you go. Thomas Jefferson.
So, and you know what? Keelan and Hinckley made it sound like they're in the pursuit of happiness in their meeting rooms.
They're living the dream.
They're living the dream.
Living their best
lives. They're in the
lives.
pursuit of happiness right now.
A shout out to our friend Mark Madsen, former Utah Valley head coach, now the head man at Cal. I ran into him here in Provo over the weekend.
He was in church on Sunday.
In town for his mom's birthday.
Yep, Erlyn. Happy birthday, Erlyn.
Such a first-class human being. We wish him the best. The Bears, by the way, officially joined the ACC today.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me that Cal and Stanford are in the ACC.
They're playing North Carolina and Duke.
So that's crazy.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to Olympians James Corrigan and Kenneth Rooks for coming on early in the show. How cool is that? That teammates get to run together in the same event in the Olympic Games in Paris.
So cool.
So cool and so fun to have them on the show. We thank assistant basketball coach Will Voigt. He's going to teach us all about defense if we get him tickets. And you're going to get him tickets this game. He says he's going to do
take care of.
We're
going to get our tour.
On the Peel Switch, he's going to give us a tutorial.
And then we'll tell you about it.
We get him 2 tickets, and then we'll tell you all about it. So.
Yeah. Hinckley Ropati Keelan Marion.
Yep.
Headliners on our show tonight. What a week.
Awesome.
Independence Day, holiday. In Provo, it's especially cool. We hope it's nice wherever you are, and some of you are in foreign countries, and sometimes once you leave the United States, it's a whole different thing when you appreciate everything that we have here, and it's that week. Tomorrow, the Freedom Awards Gala is at the Utah County Convention Center. I get to MC that thing.
Yeah, you're MCing that.
That's where they honor 4 game changers.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of those guys 100 years old from
It's
World War II.
amazing, yeah.
Grand Parade is Thursday.
Do you have to be the Grand Parade?
No.
You have to
be sound
9 a.m.
asleep.
My favorite part, don't they have a flyover for the Grand Parade?
Sometimes they do.
Like, I feel like a couple years ago they had like Apache attack helicopters lead the parade, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, they're looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
Get the info at freedomfestival.org. Click on the Grand Parade. Follow the instructions. Chance to get up close and personal at the Grand Parade. So they're looking for some volunteers.
Stadium of Fire with the Jonas Brothers. It's sold out. It's 8 p.m. on actually July 4th this year.
Yeah.
Dave's the MC for that. Next event in the Edwards Stadium will be BYU versus Southern Illinois on August 31st.
I can tell you something about the show.
It is sold out, but here I want to emphasize that because we're still going to come up with 2 tickets for Coach.
The Jonas Brothers are going to play 16 songs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
they're good.
It's going to be an awesome night, and yes, the F-35s will be buzzing the stadium.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
I can't wait for that. And then there's the aroma of gunpowder in the air. I wish that was like a cologne or perfume. I just love it. If someone's out there lighting a smoke bomb or a bottle of rocket, I just got to just breathe it in. I just love this time of year. We hope you have a great one. Hey, next week it's championship week. National champion from UNLV and former BYU assistant basketball coach Dave Rice. National champion Kelly Smith, your teammate.
My teammate.
And 2-time World Series champion Dane Org. It's championship week.
All champions are coming next week to the show, which is great. Hey, don't forget the podcast is up tomorrow. Happy Independence Day week, everybody. This is going to be a fun week.
Yeah, and we love being able to take wise guys all around the world.
Yep.
From right here in the United States.
And don't forget about Brady Plus. That they're making it all happen for us. So thanks to Brady Plus. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus.
See you guys. Have a great week.